interesting that DX Soul doesn't put too much priority into drafting the Brethren jungle for Keemit, because the few games that they have brought it out have gone very, very well for them. So a lot of it does come down to other teams deciding they just don't want to deal with it after they saw it the first couple of times.
You know what, shout out to the comment, I totally forgot to do this, but now I remember. Everything's all set. Let's have a match tonight.
Well, we are slowly approaching nighttime.
Let's go, let's go.
How's the timing will align
Let's go
up
bóng,
for
let's
them,
go.
but we are
Trời
in
cho
the
tao đạp thịt lươn đó
jump
bay.
right
Ai
Now,
bằng chộp toàn.
looks like Coach Teo bans out that Fanny as well as the Lucas. So really looking at Uni, doesn't want him to get an advantage here. And now looks like
Let's
the
go
Exo
bóng.
Fredrin as well as the chip, which is. Am I looking at this right?
No one can escape my face.
Okay, yeah, okay,
Yeah, yeah.
Fredrin, all right.
Yeah, obviously they'll ban the
It's weird
Brethren.
because I have to look at their seed ban. It's not here.
Ta sút đây cho lại xem này mùi.
The team are actually reversed, so that's something to keep in mind, especially when you guys come by and watch if you're gonna be showing up in person for the rest of the playoff. But yeah, DX has already been known to be pretty good at utility jungles, and then the Brethren is pretty good. They also removed the Bakia so that they don't have to risk any sort of damage, and they throw that first protection over to DX.
Right? I kind of feel like Stone can do well with the Jushin, and it's probably a pretty solid opening here, but looks like they're picking up the Phobias. This kind of instantly shows their hand, though, right? Like, Phobias is a strong hero, but this does mean that Siska is not going to be using a damage dealer.
Damage dealer.
And Fredrin's off the table, so probably not a lot of good tanks in the jungle at this point.
The thing is, Phobius is such a universal hero these days that he honestly can do some damage if the conditions line
Ta
up.
ní cho lại xem này mùi gì.
Though there are EXP laners in the pool that are good at countering him, he will still end up contributing to team fights a lot of the time. That's why his win rate is so high.
And I feel like this is also, in a way, shutting down Uni just a little bit, because which assassin doesn't have dashes, right? So I kind of feel like that's the target here, trying to force out a little bit for Uni to use something like a fight. But we've seen him in this situation before. If there's no other choices, he'll go for that Hanzo.
Hanzo.
For the Lancelot, maybe a little bit tricky going up against his Phobias. But either way, good opening coming in from Envy, picking up the Kalia as well as that Granger, which in a sense shuts down a lot of matchups here. But they still pick up the Hayabusa as well as the Kimi. I feel like the Link is what they're looking for. I don't know if they were going to go for it because of the Phobias.
Oh.
Yeah, Phobius just automatically makes it very difficult to play a lot of the more mobile.
Not impossible, but
not impossible,
yeah.
yes, but more difficult. And so it depends on whether or not you want to play into that in the first place. The EXO have already revealed the Hayabusa and the Kimi, so that indicates that they want to play for a little bit around that mid lane. Cryo, Phobius should give them a good stance in the EXP lane, and that'll allow them to start contesting objectives pretty early on. You ideally want a mage that can combo
Play
well
by
with
time.
Leia and exert early game pressure, and Parsa definitely fills in those gaps.
So this is an interesting batting phase here, because usually what most teams do is at this point ban out the 1-1. But because they
Ta ní cho lại xem này mùi gì.
a very good answer for the 1-1.
Complete cho lại xem này mùi.
Are they gonna take the risk and just let it go? Because in case you guys don't know, SkyZ got the Savage with the 1-1.
អត់ធ្វើការគេថ្ងៃហ្នឹងអត់ធ្វើហ្នឹង2ថ្ងៃđể off 2ថ្ងៃ và problemជួយ like xem này mùi gì. Sải like nghề đi like Mpl Ph Philippines. Cái đánh phải semi final. Chăm chú lại cho xem này mùi gì. Complete cho lại cho xem này mùi.
And they have already locked in the Phobias for themselves, so it's always something that they can consider since they don't
Something
have to
like
worry
that.
about 1-1 being counted by that hero.
Legit, the entire draft feels like they're just targeting Uni, because now they're betting out the Hanzo. And the fact that they have the Kimi means that if they want to go cheeky, right, pick up a fighter, pick up a tank in the jungle.
A tank in the jungle.
Damage against you. And against Hayabusa, he also wins a lot of matchups. So the only one that's really open right now is that Joy.
Yeah, with Lucas
1-1.
Joy going to be one of the obvious picks coming in here for Muni.
Oh, by the way, 112 got banned.
Yeah, it did get banned. So
We
they were also
are
thinking the same
glue.
things we were. The clue also gonna be banned out just to give Phobius a little bit more advantage in that EX.
តោះនេះជួយ like share អ្នកមួយនេះជួយ like share អ្នកមួយនេះលើ YouTube ជួយចុច មេ like អ្នកមួយមក
EXP lane and their
អូខេ
jungle.
អូខេ
CC high loss.
CC high loss
High loss is a good match
ចាក់ខាងណាបង
the Phobius, and you need
អត់តបានមើល
Kalia
អត់តបានដឹងខាងណាលេងល្អជាង
not fun, right?
តន់ទីនេះ
Pretty
មួយណាក៏បានដែរគេពីរនេះអត់សូវសំខាន់
that advantage in lane versus the Phobius. You also deny the potential pick away from DX themselves so that they're able to. I mean, Xeno did play Esmeralda, but I don't feel like this is the right game for it. Yes, it
ពីរ
could
នេះ
be
សូវសំខាន់ដែរអញ្ចឹងយើង
but
សូវ
it's
អី
not particularly good against the other two heroes.
Arrow របស់យើងឡើង Arrow Esport
The question is,
Arrow Esport នេះមានគូសី
mid, because so far Storm has been using that
បានគូសីមកខ្មែរវិញមកអែមចោយបើទេ
He can drop a Selena here so that Storm can use it and just ask Sky Zen to use the Kimi in the gold, because this also looks like
High loss
Selena would work well.
Yeah, I agree with you. Selena would be really good to provide vision for Kalea's ambushes or just threat
You'll have a lot of
airstrike.
front line.
And got that as well. Got that is open.
ឥឡូវអត់តាន់មួយគីមីណាគីមីបាញ់ធ្លុះលេងសើយ
The XS is going to need to complete their draft here. They don't actually know what the jungler is from M yet, and that's just something they're going to have to accept. Especially with all the bans they've already taken out. They could probably expect that it is going to be
តោះនេះមកក្រោយៗយើងលេងxem nàyមួយ
fighter.
ចូលហ្គេមឡើយ
For the Harif works well since they already have the Phobius for themselves. But
បាត់មុខ
also,
ខាលិតយូរនេះតែសើឃើញ
I kind of feel like this is just Rossi, like,
ខាងម៉ាឡេសម្បូរចូលចិត្តលេងខាលិតចុយ
because he has won games where this Khalid just shuts down the mid lane so much.
ខាលិតនេះយកមកក្លុក
And against the Kalia and the Farsa, where both
យកមកក្លុកហើយយ៉ាមកឲ្យ farm ស្រួល
I kind of feel like
ចូលដល់គេអណយកាប់3 4កបិតមក
especially if, just imagine this, right? Kimi, second skills, stuns both of them up, enhance basic attack on the Khalid, and then just first skills to death.
there is
First
potentially
skill
some
to
combinations
death.
between the traction pulse and the raging sands.
Yeah,
That too, you can time it pretty
I
easily.
love
And I do
Joy
think it's a
Pasa
good idea,
Kalia.
when I really think about it.
Great.
Envy doesn't have that much early game threat.
បុកណាក៏ដាច់ទេប៉ុណ្្នឹង
There's
ខាង
a lot
ខាង
of
អំពី
people that cancel the quicksand guard either, so Rossi could make a lot happen in the first couple
Lot
of
happen.
minutes there. But let's find out whether it will go to plan, because Monster Vicious going to be keeping the memories of their
បងមើលតែ MPL ចឹងបានលេង
in
ខ្លាំង
their minds and make
ខ្លាំងដល់ហើយ
sure that they
ខ្លាំងណាស់ដល់មិនខ្លាំងមកខ្លាំងណាស់
Once again, right now I'm looking at
Hey,
the line
cái
here, and it does look like DX Soul, they have a very aggressive draft.
អូ
This is a very good draft.
តែ skin របស់ Naruto
What we do have to consider is that if we're talking about the lane phase, the Granger will have a
Look.
better time going up against the Harif. Until Harif gets, before Harif gets,
Nè,
the
cái vô mà
it's
cái
not
lọc á.
going to be a good lane for Harif. And then we're looking at the EXP as well. The Hylos does
យកកាលិតនឹងមកក្លុកចាំងក៏មកឲ្យ farm ស្រួលតែក្លុកបានតែ early ទេតែ late game ទៅបាក់លេង
I kind of
Ở
feel
tan
like the management of the laners here is going to be very crucial in this matchup.
គេបោក
Because
ងា
if
ប់
you think about the common habits of these teams, though, is that in the early game they tend to not really go for particularly aggressive rotations.
អូយអូយ
Rossi
ងាប់ជួយមកហើយ
be wrong straight away. Now he has to
Flick
look at
មួយ
the
ដែរ
Yep. And I kind of feel
Bị
like this is
ngộp.
what you want to do.
មិញហ្នឹងបើកាលិតគេមាន passive វិញម៉ាត់ពុះមួយទៀតងាប់យកដែរ
Advantage earlier.
វា
So,
solo kill របស់កាលិត
kind of want to put him in a bad spot.
ជើមួយ
Escobar understanding that there's a chance
ខ្ញុំដូចមានតំណទៅខាង MV Monster
this comes in and heal him up.
That is one of the
Monster ស្អី
plus
vicious
benefits of having a Kalea around, even before having access to that ultimate. Just the sheer healing that she's able to provide to her team.
Stun.
Her passive is actually kind of
បងមើល
ridiculous.
ប្រទេសអីហ្នឹងម៉ាឡេហ្នឹងម៉ាឡេ
Can get top
play in ហ្នឹង play in play off អត់តាន់ចូលមក play off ហើយ
It does look like they're putting, you know, sources.
ម៉ាឡេស៊ី
But Ziska is not going to get baited. Still going to be completely fine. And now looks like Stone.
គេដល់ play off គេប្រហែលជាដល់នេះដល់ពាក់កណ្ដាលធម្មតាបើថ្ងៃ10ជាងមួយ
something you have to
window
expect Kimmy
តែបើហ្វីលីពីនគេ play off ថ្ងៃហ្នឹងហើយ
especially
គេ
this
មើល
early
ដូច
on.
side grand final ថ្ងៃនេះsemi final
For now, though, Zeno in a lot of trouble, gonna get ganked by
Boom.
3. Novak Tobar
ដាច់ Zeno ប្រ
and Heeman doesn't
តើកមួយ
not gonna commit his ultimate.
ឡើងកតេឈាមអើយមិនងាប់មិនបុកងាប់
Dude, the fact that Hylo still survived and it took that much. Like, oh, that was. He's a tanky guy, and DXO they were. If they committed all.
Chọn. À, skill TP bo Kimmy là nói thôi.
Better idea of what he wants to do with that OP shadow kill. Maybe try to assassinate, maybe round him in this sort of fight.
I'm not sure if Kevin was thinking they could.
Phải Pram smart đấy.
But now the turtle being contested.
Boom. Ban chồi.
You're gonna secure the turtle away. Zeno gonna be picked up as first blood though, and now DXO looking for some.
Ngọt khả liêu đấy. Ăn ngọt. Cái pù đấy.
Unfortunately, DXO has run out of gas. That's gonna be all they get.
I would say that's kind of equal because one turtle.
Trận đánh sạch sọ, trận đánh sạch mặc crop đấy. Nếu trận đánh sạch mặc crop ấy mình đang thò bàn căng được cả. Bàn ông vi rồi này. Mở tàu vay càng ngọt tê và làm chiêm nghĩ thế hay lo không? Đỏ lên game mình chịu. Hay lo early tàn đã pe chập mid game tư lên game tới chập đam tàn chập đam thôi mình của khang này miền ai thấm. Khang kill thông. Khang kill mơ mới thông nè. Lấp. Cái tiếp pha giá miền lôi bên kim mỹ lên hiên cho banh này. Như mấy này. Ta pha giá miền lấy kim mỹ lên hiên cho team fight mà. Pha giá câu trăm tập bật tỏi. Monster Vicious. Mà khang DX DXO min led game min hà đất min kim mỹ. Khang âm ví miền cái trước là cái kép chúc hero led game cái nào led game cái là stake hay sky pizza cái là chớn cái là chư vua bộ ngóp thế thì nó sao có tay chiếm chứ nó cái toán cho cái tay chiếm mà nó thì mới bảo ultimate anh ngóp ultimate smite cao rung luyện smite với anh ngóp tại vì cao lông luyện smite là đừng tạo bàn thò là cho mà cái advice bùm chập trừ muối cái đánh chơi coi phốt rồi mà sell AP sell energy trời mà một đánh một phù viện trời mà phù viện đã là phù viện mùi rốn team fight rồi đây mà phù viện mình đang bay 4 này đâu ba âm với đỏ từ khối tịch trời mà game có bên phù viện chào rồi mà phù viện tròn lên mặt mà mình đang ông với đỏ tích Uni mày đẹp không mơ xin muối trời à cái chạp màn hay già nguồn nó có bối co muối cái bộ phổ viên có mùi điện chuyện bay nè bốc này phổ viên từ đây sao có thể chiếm bùm vay ngọt vay hai lô nợ ngọt mền đại cà lia đây một con điện từ đây nước rất ngọt trời free farm
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, he takes a lot of hits and everything, so no, I understand. But the fact that he doesn't die is like, woo.
It goes to show, right? Hylos is one of the tankiest heroes in the game for a reason.
And he can even take the Lord. Hylos, man. Like, that's no wonder he's the skin of the season.
Reza's Hylos stole the Lord earlier in the first match of the day, for those of you who didn't know.
Cái hai lô lên lên cho
So far, the junglers are actually the
mình đến
ones
pressure thằng còn cho mày.
also, we're not really seeing a repeat of some very interesting stuff at the start
Hai
of
lô
the day.
trình này vẫn trình ai thăm team mỗi ai thăm cắt chiêm vô đấy. Búa đại Khalid á, bông Khalid thôi à. Trình lọt rồi.
Oh, this is early, but Kimin now has the Blade of Despair. So he's building a Hunter Strike into a Blade of Despair. So now this is a pretty big power spike by Kimin. So even if someone's
Hai lô chạm đam miên lối.
really gotta be
Hai lô lên tan đi.
that damage is
Hai lô thêm ban đi. Cho tập team fighter mà mốm nó ngọt.
second item, Blade of Despair.
Yeah, maybe he really was annoyed that the Oki Shadow kill bounced so unluckily previously, but that is a very important item to have at this stage. It's gonna melt down MV really quickly, and I don't even think it's meant to actually secure the kills. I'm pretty sure Kimian's gonna use that as a way to melt them down and let Skyzed and Stone finish him off.
Maybe even higher damage on your circuit to actually secure the Lord.
True.
Búp.
That is definitely a possibility. For now, the first Lord of the game is up. The X will have the lead, but it's only 1k, and you need just...
Cái đánh chơi miên lôi ra cái đánh chơi toàn ngọc mùi mùi hai đất đấy. Hai đất Pi zone ha, cái đánh chơi bay zone. Go lên sẽ play ba ló này. Go lên xong khác sẽ play ba ló. Ai cô nữa trời. Buông hai đất này. Chắc buông hai đất này.
Exactly what they would hope to achieve here. Uni will have electrifying beats back, but the other two are still on their timing. The Exol unfortunately not really able to find the angle needed to punish it though, so I don't think the use of those ultimates is really gonna do much for my MB.
Yeah, the Exol, they were able to take away a lot of ults because they haven't been really all that active. They haven't been punishing that, so Monster Vision is still looking good, because if you're looking at it, basically everyone has their ult back.
Mặc crop đập vô rồi. Thay vô rồi. Cái này chơi chậm đam. Cái này chơi chậm đam chứ. Cái này chơi bỏ lên rank sẽ lấy.
And someone goes split push down by, because I feel like that's very free, but the problem is who? The best is Hayabusa, but the moment you see the Hayabusa is far away from the Lord, that's going to be Monster Vicious going straight and burst this Lord down.
Bóc à? Thế là bóc đi. Mà Kim Mi mà bánh chọc chơi mà. Bùm. Tạo miền trừ đi. Ê! No! Đại cái chơi bạn. Mũi độ 7. Lôi sật. Monster Vicious won, and I'm not even talking about the kills, man. Look at the bottom lane. Not only did they get the turret, they even got the holy defense. I mean, like, to be fair, only a few seconds the holy defense is gonna be gone anyways, but still, Monster Vicious, they just played a macro, right? And actually, it's not even Monster Vicious, just the Exo.
I feel like the Exo disrespected the positioning a little bit there, because Novak Skobar just flickered forward, drags Siska back, and then the rest of the X just tried to follow in while the artillery from Ruff was just going ham at them. They gave this Granger way too many kills.
Now finally Rossi is dealing with the bot wave. I feel like the problem with DXO is that
Chua lót rồi.
hold on, the engagement track
Comes in,
Bùng. Bạn 2 da rồi.
steals the Lord away. DXO now on disengage mode. Siska running away from Zeno, but the Depth Sonata finds him. They'll trade EXP for EXP.
Chứ boss máu cho sát nữa.
Poke damage. I don't know if they want to keep this going. Yep. Looks like they'll finally back it off.
both EXP laners died, came in. This is what we want to see from junglers, man.
ហើយយ៉ាងហ្នឹងបោះថ្មអត់មានជាប់អាពីមុខបើជាប់ពីមុខវាអាចនឹងតោងលឿនពេលបោះមិនហ្នឹងបោះមកក្បែរឡតគាត់បោះចូលលោតទៅផ្លឹកស្មៃពោងបោះស្អាតហើយមែនមកគូស្គីលអែមណូចាយអាទីញាត់ធ្ងន់បោះហើយយ៉ាបោកខាលីបទៅ
sets up space to melt down the Lord before it hits the inhibitor.
DXO now almost 3,000 ahead, Stalfa. And DXO, they win game 1. They're in condition, man. They're setting it up. It's basically like getting the pieces of Exodia.
It's very difficult to get all 5 pieces of Exodia, but it is possible. We've already seen it in the series. The EXO right now trying to embody the spirit of Yami Yugi. See if they can get the pieces that they need. And honestly, I am very curious. If the EXO do win game 1, have they fixed the issue of overheating?
Trời, cái này chớ bẹ với đàn chơi mình.
I would say they are quite disciplined in this.
Khai hai da nhỉ?
The only problem is they gotta
Khai hai da mình ăn khai.
you gotta see the map as a whole. You can't allow the minions to be able to push down your turrets. Now conceal play.
Rồi sẽ có mà crop các bạn này. Với đàn chắc là cái bột mày do mày bọn bố nguồn mình. Bùm bùm ô nè xên nốt nguồn rồi đây bỗng trốn đi thì cái trôi bỗng ban Midland rồi
This is the start of a very bad run because this probably reminds them of previous season in play-ins. They can't lose this one. Now it looks like they're able to get Roundel to use his wings by wings. Nobody's score by trying to get a
come by team fight on
come
by team fight
out of there. They know that they can't end the game just yet without the Lord, but they're setting themselves up real well. They've taken 2 inhibitors. The Lord is coming up in 10 seconds. Monster Vicious now going to need to find a good position to turn this around.
I gotta say Stone played that really well because he's very quick to realize that he's being targeted by both the Barca as well as the Joy. So able to get out of that and the rest of the team collapsing on the Joy, that's really good teamwork coming in from DXO. Something we haven't seen a lot this day.
Yeah, that was a lot of faith and proper reaction to what MV was trying to do. Because you're right, Lavelle. Uni tried to dive the backline and yet wasn't really able to find much out of it. And in fact, even ended up...
Nè, Kim bị tay hai lo sư cho vậy. Tao đây. Cho chạy phô biết thẹt to nè. Ngọc rầy chờ vào đây. Tao vào đây. Tao. Chí. Vô liên tục pha giá bên AT rồi khả liếu bên AT vô liên tục ngộp pha giá vào đây off lịch mũi bồn quay tên vô vào đây chi nên sang sai ông quý tới phnom mùi tiền đây ông quý tới phnom mà đây quay họ phải tranh hào áo đẹp hai Khang có hòm bóng chọc rồi.
This is actually a really impressive performance by DXS right here because team fights 5v5 death balls are supposed to be Monster Vicious's specialty. These are supposed to be the types of games where they come out on top, and yet DXO outmaneuvered them, outplayed them almost single time.
ចប់ហើយគ្មានកីឡាទេទេជប់ខ្ញុំមើលស្អីគេទេនោះគេអាហ្នឹងគេឈ្មោះស្អីvậyតិចបាត់ទៅចាំតិចនេះធ្វើមិនមកខ្មែរយើងដែរនេះ whisky King e-sport នេះKing C នេះ
ចឹងហ៎
ទៅចាប់អត់
បានតែ fan នេះយកទៅប៉ះមិនក៏តែបាន fan នេះប៉ះទីមិនក៏តែបាន fan នេះ
វាយសិតតែសេដូចគ្នាចុចពីក្រោយសំខាន់ណាចុចពីក្រោយកតុយ
គ្រុតប្លែកនេះធីមខ្មែរគេលេយើងចេះអង្គុយមើល
ទីបានឲ្យជុំឡុយ
កប់ស្រី
កប់សារីរីរី
ឲ្យរត់ឈីមអី free ban មួយហ្នឹងជាការ timing គាត់គិតយូរពេកគិតផ្លេចមើល ban វាសាពេកវាសាដល់ចាស់ខ្ញុំចំមិនដល់សល់មកកដោ Kimmy Baxia
ថាអត់ធំទៀតបងមានបានថាអត់ធំ
Corrector អីមកដល់ហើយយ៉ាអូសល់ច្រើនណាស់ហ្គេមនេះតែគេទី ban មួយសល់រត់មកដល់
បែនអេនជឡា
Baxia
បែនអេនជឡាហើយអេនជឡា Yes តែអត់អេនជឡាផងណាអត់មានអេនជឡូបងណា
នេះ Corrector Kimmy មកសំណប់ដាក់ Corrector Kimmy ដាក់ high loss មកនេះ from line ផងទៀតបាទចាំមើលអញទៅជាងណាដែរដល់ប្រភេទ Corrector Kimmy ឬក៏ Kimmy Corrector ម្ដងអាច
ចេះនេះគេលេង play លេងបែបអត់មែន
គេមានកតអត់
Kimmy កតត Kimmy ម្ដងមួយណាក៏បានពីរសិនល្អ
បោះស្រីគឺដាក់ក្បាលកបីពីរដើម្បីអត់ស្រីព្រោះឈ្នះ2ឈ្នះដាច់
Kimmy Corrector
Kimmy Corrector ធំពុយ
ចំឥឡូវគេតំណណាបងកា
10 pick ជាមួយនឹង Baxia សល់ Chusin
free ban ឲ្យមួយទៀត
លេងបានហ្គេមនេះបើយក Chusin Moscow ស្រួលលេង
ហ្នឹង
អាចលេងបាន early game បើ Chusin Moscow អាចលេងហើយយ៉ាបុសាហើយយ៉ា Chusin ឬហើយយ៉ា
គេទៅចូល
Experience Land បច្ចុប្បន្ននៅសល់ Fur វាតែគាត់លេងអត់បើអញ្ចឹងទៅគាត់លេង Harrod Band ចោលទៀតចា Chusin សល់ Chusin ណា Chusin មក
ស៊ូស៊ីនមិនចឹង
ចូលសិនបានណា
Sex Brilliant
លេងលេតហ្គេមវិញ
លេឡើយបាត់តាំងយូរណាតែសលេនអូដោយសាររិនហ្នឹងគាត់នៅអោកឈូគាត់ចូលចិត្តលេងនេះតែសលេនគាត់ដល់ឈើមកគាត់អញ្ចឹងគាត់យកស៊ីសលេនដោយសារតែគាត់មកពីអោកឈូអញ្ចឹងគាត់យកស្រែកមកលេង
ចេះតមានណាជឿហើយ
nó ở đây chua là rin chân đây bành nha chân đây hay giờ mà nó nó sẽ cái bọn cái lịch hồ bắt đây một nữa hạt chi chân đây rồi gấp đấy này hạt chi
hạt chi
đó
បើហត់ទឹកឈ្មោះឃើញណាឈ្មោះជីជាតិហ្នឹងដាក់មកអត់រាយវិរិទ្ធអីដាក់មកមិនអី
đây mấy tay trăng nhông vậy
Lucas
này cơ
này cơ okay này cơ slot ទី4បានសល់ balance តែគិតថាគេអាចលេង balance experience ឡើងណាបើអត់គិតទេគួរតែមិនបាច់ទុកចោលបានអីផ្សេងslot ទី4អាចបាន Golan គេចោល Golan គេសល់ Moscow សល់ Irratel គួរតែ ban ចោលអត់តែអត់មាន Angela ក៏មិនសូវជាខ្លាំងអីបានដែរគាត់ថាកុំឲ្យមាន hero late game ទៅបានហើយ Irratel ban ចោល yes slot ទី4សម្រាប់ team គ្រុតគាត់គួរតែ ban roamer ដែល front line ដូចជា Hilda experience land និង Lu និង Hylos បើមិនចឹងទេគឺត្រូវបិទកំបោមទៅគឺកាត់តតជំរើសហ្នឹងគឺជាជំរើសល្អបំផុតសម្រាប់ពួកគាត់តែគាត់នឹងស្រេចចិត្តមួយណាដែរ
បាទចាំភ្លាមចាំមើលបាទជាមួយនឹងការ ban ពីគ្រុត team បច្ចុប្បន្នគេមានអស់គេនិយាយទៅបិទ hero front line ជាជំរើសល្អសម្រាប់គាត់ Hylos មិនដែរ Hylos គាត់បាក់លេងអត់ Hylos ក៏លូ Hilda បាក់លេងខ្ញុំគាត់ថា ban Hilda មួយល្អដែរសម្រាប់ពួកគាត់
បែប Fobia វិញ
countering the joy
I don't know make like Fobia ទៅគាត់ slot ចុងក្រោយនៃការ ban របស់ Black Draft
កាច់ជួ
បិទ Golan ក្រៅពីហ្នឹងគឺមានតែការីឬក៏ Moscow ល្អតែមិនបានគេបាន experience land ទៅគាត់ទៅខ្លាចផងឥឡូវបច្ចុប្បន្នកាលមានលោកកាសមាន2 hero នោះហើយMoscow បានចោលដូចនេះការ ban Moscow ចោលការ ban ចុងក្រោយរបស់ខូច Vigo ទៅ experience land ក៏ចង់មាន ban ទៀតក៏មិនសោះ from line 12ហ៎ទាំង Hylos ទាំង Hilda គេលេងបានទាំងអស់ហ្នឹងគាត់អត់តន់ច្បាស់ថាលោកកាសនេះលោកកាសអីគេផងនេះមិនស្រួលថាគាត់ថាលោកកាសហ្នឹងអាចលោកកាស experience land ដូចនេះក៏តត ban ចោលសោះ Hylos សោះ Hilda គាត់យកមួយណាក៏បានដែរលេងបានដូចនេះ
កាឡូក៏សល់ហើយកឡូគាត់សល់
ឡូលេងក៏បាន
hero can collect ទៅនោះណា
Big ban យូរហើយ
team ថ្មី not shooty that need shooty that sure that I see ដឹងទេអានថាម៉េច low បញ្ញា cipher មិន cipher ទេនេះ cipher នៅខាង Black Trash មាន cipher នៅគ្រប់មាន live team Mac ចេញអស់ហើយមិន double pick experience land លេងជាមួយនឹង Glow បាក់តិចតែគួរយក hero ដែលអាចមាន spell បានចំណែកឯ Goland របស់គាត់នៅសល់ hero ដែលមាន damage ដុំនៅសល់អីគេ
Matrix
slot អូ slot ល្អនេះ slot ហ្នឹង slot ល្អ Bruno single target
ចាំឲ្យ Bruno នេះអត់មិនរួចពី Lucas
គេ pick Lucas គាត់នៅ pick chip ទេណាតោះបាដាំងហើយ Lucas ហើយកឡូបាដាំង Romer មក Lucas ចាំង color ទៅនេះ
ខ្ញុំមើលគាត់ចង់លេងមិនហ្គេមនេះក៏អាចមានលេងឱកាសលេងចយបានណាតែចយមិនកើតអត់មាន hero front line
Hai loគ្នាពងអត់ hero front line យកចយទៀតដួលហើយ
មិនអត់មក
គាត់គីមី back line ហ្នឹង
គាត់មាន hero ដែលចាប់គេវាយផងហ្នឹងប៉ងលើកឡូ
hero នេះតប៉ងលើកឡូហើយទី1ទី2ប៉ងឲ្យគេចូលមកវាយគាត់បើ hero គាត់ដេញវាយគេអត់មានទេគេមិនស្អីដេញវាយគេទេ
ហ្នឹង
បាទចឹងបន្ទាប់ពីតារាបញ្ចប់ចាំមើលតើ team គ្រុតប៉ះទេនឹង Black Bass ណាជាអ្នកនាំមកស្លៀកមួយហ្គេមមុន
let's go
នេះអាចនឹងបន្តពី0ទៀតឬក៏ទី1ប៉ុណ្ណាថ្ងៃនេះភ្លៀងហ្នឹង
ចូលណាអូ4នាទីទៀតណានេះមើលលេខទេសិន
បាទកន្លងនិយាយមកទៀតឃើញ
សួរតែបានសួរមកខា
caster ចង់មួយដេកនេះ
ថ្ងៃនេះតើមានកម្រងទេគេហើយណា walking street ហ៎
walking street
អត់មើលការរបៀបគួរណា
ថាហៅទៅថត content
ឥឡូវរវល់បាត់បាទស្ពីបរ៉ាស្ពីបរីកុមារ៉ាកុមារ៉ៃលោកតាលោក Gaming សមាគមមកកាន់ការប្រកួត Viking មេកុង Warrior International 2025 វគ្គ Qualifier រក C គូទី1
រក C
ទី1រវាង Restream និង Black Draft ជាការចាប់ផ្ដើមគំនិតជាមួយនឹងភេសជ្ជៈ Viking លន់ឈ្ងុយរសជាតិឆ្ងាញ់ច្រាមច្រាមរយៈតិចឆ្ងាញ់ហ្មងអាចរកទិញបានត្រឹមតែ 2,500 រៀលមួយកំប៉ុងតាមផ្សារទំនើបផ្សេងផ្សារជីបម៉ងដូចជា 7-Eleven និងតូបអ៊ីចាប់មួយទាំងអស់តែម្ដងនៅក្នុងប្រទេសជាណាចក្រកម្ពុជា
តែបញ្ញាឥឡូវមកលេង Black Draft
ចង់និយាយទៅនេះវាដាក់បោះកឡើយ
បញ្ញានេះរៀងកាចបញ្ញានេះ
ប្រាប់ពងងាប់បាត់អីតើអើយ
ទៅបាត់
2-0
snowball បាត់គេ snowball បាត់តែលេងចឹងគេ snowball បាត់ហើយចាំងលើមួយ romer មួយ
Caster ដឹងដែរហើយតូង snowball
second blur assert blur
sorry 3-0មកហើយ
មានផឹកចប់ហើយបានលុយគ្រប់ blur ទៀតលុយមានណា
Black Draft
ចប់ហើយ
Black Draft
មានអារម្មណ៍កាន់
Draft ខ្មៅ
នឿយហត់អស់កម្លាំងសុំ per game ហើយញ៉ាំ Viking មួយកំប៉ុងសិនទៅបាទលើ 3-0 បាត់ហើយជាការចាប់តាមងាប់ Black Draft គេទៅខូច gameplay បាត់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងខូច gameplay បាត់
ខូចហ្នឹងហើយបើលោកកាសហ្នឹងត្រូវ snowball បើអត់បានបាយ
លើ chip គេយក level
បាយងាប់បាត់
chip យក level 4ទៀត
បាយងាប់តាំងពី early ហើយ
patient បានលឿនមែនបាទអាន
ហើយយ៉ា
អាន Zuri មកហើយមកមើលឃើញ
ងាប់បាត់ទៀតហើយអញ
មកតាមទៅទៀត
អ
2 kill mega kill 4 stone 5-0 បាត់ទៅហើយ Cypher បានជាដាក់
Black Draft
Nessie
មុនមកហើយ
បាច់ពីបានជាមួយនឹង pop up មិនបាន pop up ទេតែបាន
Cypher នេះធ្លាប់ស្គាល់បងកាកា
បុប
តែការនៅ TY Academy ដែលខ្ញុំតែងតែនិយាយគាត់លេងឡាពូ
អូ
លេខឈ្មោះបាត់ហើយថានៅ team ណាខ្ញុំថា Cypher idol ខ្ញុំហ៎ idol ខ្ញុំហ៎
Eclipse អីគេនេះលេខបាត់
ណា select ឲ្យ
Eclipse ហ្នឹងមែនឲ្យ Eclipse ទៅហ្នឹងមែនហ្នឹងមែន
អត់ខ្លួនឯងមិនកា
បាទ 5-0 បាត់ហើយ 3 នាទីដំបូង 10k តទៅ វាយ shape បាទ the portal បាទមកនឹងវាយយកតែនោះវាវត្តលាត់ហើយតែជាមួយនឹងរៀបការចាក់ sticker មួយការបោះវាយវិញដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែមានការវាយលើ Cypher មានការដោះតដូចគ្នាបាទមកជាមួយនឹង
ងាប់ទៀត
shere not shere តយកបានតជាមួយនឹង Zuri មួយ shut down ជីកមួយប៉ុន្តែគេមិនខ្លាចគេគាត់ទៅពួតចង់វាយមកវិញដូចគ្នាប៉ុន្តែទីវាយបញ្ចប់ 3 ដូរទៅមួយតែ shut down នេះខ្លឹមណាព្រោះ7 kill
shut down ចូលហ្នឹង
shot តែម្ដងតែកើ
shut down ចូល game មី
Asori មិនមែនគាត់មានឱកាសក្នុងការដកថយដែរតែគាត់ទៅមកស្មើទេតែចង់វាយគេនេះចាំមើលគាត់មកវិញមកនេះគាត់មកវិញហើយគាត់អត់ទៅទៀតដូច
7 kill ស្បាយបាយឲ្យគេ shot down ប្រយ័ត្នគេ comeback គេ Kimmy Granger កុំលេងសើចគេ Kimmy
កុំលេខដៃកុំលេខដៃ
Anti strike ពី
ទុកភ័យដល់យើងជួបគ្នា
Danic show ទេនៅតែឆ្លោះគ្នាជាមួយនឹងWester shoe មិន water ណានេះ Wester shoe បាទចំណែក Midland
ចូលវិញ
ស្ងាត់ស្កាត់ធម្មតាទេតែថត
ចូលវិញ
Cypher ជាបមួយជីកដែរទេជីឬមិនជីបាត់ជីអាចនឹងហានិភ័យ
ចូលវិញ
ហានិភ័យឡើយបាត់តការឡើងការអូនមើលទៅថតយឹមពី Black Draft
to push them to the finish line.
I like the adjustment here coming in from Monster Vicious. Betting out the Fredrin, betting out the Phobius, and even betting out
អូអាណាគេមិនសើអម
At the same time, this is focus on what DXOL has been doing. And DXOL as well, betting out Fanny as well as Lucas targeting Udi, and now even betting out the chips. But the first big Boxia already denies a lot of what DXOL can do. But in terms of the opener, the Kalia is open. I don't even know if they want to go for that because the Boxia can deny the heal. I wonder.
I feel like Kalea just loses a lot of
Maybe hard for
effectiveness. Harris is okay, but technically also has some difficulty
Oh.
going into the Baxia. Maybe Zusin is okay. It depends on the approach that DXS wants going into game number 2.
Haya Hari.
Haya.
Yeah, because
I can see Haya.
okay, Jushin and Badang. Alright, that's interesting. I guess the Badang can handle the Baxia a little bit, but he does have to be careful because the Badang is tanky because of that shield. So cutting that by half really slows down his early game. And the reason why I say Harif and Haya because you kind of don't want to give that over to MB because Ruff is pretty good on Harif, and Uni has won the most games with the Haya.
And these are both comfort picks that would be risky to let through. And DXO has elected to go for a safer opening since the Baxia doesn't have a lot of counterplay right now. But I have expressed multiple times throughout this season that I really don't like safe openings on the red side. Revealing Badang and Zusin early
Welcome
on,
to the jungle.
I feel like gives away a lot of your game plan, and neither of these heroes have a lot of damage prio early.
1-1. If you don't want that Harif in the first place, this is a good place to put up the 1-1, right? You can get free stacks on the Baxia. You can purify out of that choke. And then you have a pretty good laning phase against the Granger. And if you don't pick it up now, for sure it's gonna get banned out.
I can see where you're coming from. The 1-1 would
Mui.
be a solid lock in here.
Okay, mui có mui
They
thế.
want to lock in a assassin instead. Looks like they will still prioritize the Harif. Should still be pretty strong. I do hope that it goes for a purify just to deal with that Wave of the Dragon.
Now I just wonder, because the XO is probably thinking where this Baxia is going. Because even though you see the choke, you have no idea whether it's going over to the EXP or the jungle. Because knowing Xeno, it feels like a Xeno hero, right? Putting it
Hàng na bông.
but at the same time,
Ông Vi.
it's in the back of your mind. You know that Uni, even though he is an assassin player, as a professional, he must be willing to use this Baxia in the jungle.
Monster
I
Vicious.
don't doubt that Uni would be able to play it in the jungle, but you're right, Mpl. It still feels more like a Xeno hero. And I
Dừng
think
ai
it's
dừng ai cái mui nhỉ? Dừng ai cái mui
still
tính gì?
gonna be
Nó
banning
khác bậy
out
Vinh lên.
assassins. It's a very good place to do so because they are going to have first pick in the second phase. So if they ban out all assassins but one, they could.
Ooh, export bad. That
Export.
might be a bluff because if you're batting out the export, it's kind of telling you that the Baxia is going in the jungle, right?
I mean, yes, but export would still be really annoying even if you were playing like Baxia EXP. Especially if
Nhung
you
vô
intend
khang
to pick
nè.
up another
Bao nhiêu
TP
tránh.
provider after this. Export will just make your life very, very difficult. I think it's wise to just eliminate it from the pool.
If you're gonna
Cắt
pick up
star.
someone tankier after this, your lineup might not have a lot of damage here.
Bao nhom tránh
It's
bông
only
cắt
the
star
Granger
lại
right
mùi.
now, so they might need
Okay.
something like Parsa. I wonder if they do want to ban out the Parsa. Oh, they ban out the Zaz, so they still want they want
Conquer.
the Hayabusa for sure.
Yes.
Right? Banning out the Zaz, either the Hayabusa or the Ling, but at this point, probably the Hayabusa.
And this is a setup for Hayabusa and maybe to bait MB into banning one or the other. If they are going to ban an assassin, it probably makes a bit more sense to ban out the Haya. I think that's a little bit more difficult to deal with overall. And yeah, they agree. They'll get rid of it.
So, Lancelot, Ling,
Bạn nè mơ tao na o chăng đắng ấy.
you want to be cheeky, I guess.
Đắng này.
Whatever. I feel like you don't need a joy here.
Việc khác việc chơi mơ cả một cút ấy.យើងចូលចិត្តមើលការប្រកួតតែគេធ្វើចូលចិត្ត
Ling could also potentially happen.
មើលហ្គេមអញ្ចឹងណាមើលយើងផ្សេងគ្នា
Thank you. Oh, to be fair, any
មើលប្រកួត
assassin,
យើងមើលយូរៗទៅចេះលុយ
I almost prefer the Lancelot, but I don't know if he practices on that.
តោះគ្នាយើងកុំភ្លេចជួយ like ជួយ share ណាមួយនេះ
Hard to say. I
Okay.
feel like a Ling is still going to be one of the safer choices as an assassin that's actually in the meta. And I do feel like the XS should lock in their jungler here. Looks like they don't.
Oh,
They're gonna
Glue.
keep it until the end and locking Glue
បើឲ្យលុយ
instead.
ទៅនឹង
Vermis lock in the blue force, which shows where the Badang is going, by the way.
ត្រូវការ
Now, they can
ត្រូវការឲ្យ
potentially
ជួយ
get a
share ចូល
Vermis
ក្រុម
plus
មួយអត់បង
a Ling. Honestly,
Share
like,
wow.
like we'll do fine against the
តែ
lineup
មកញ៉ាំអរ
against
គុណទុកមុន
Actually, I think we're forgetting Suyo.
No, I feel like Suyo is not good against
Storm
the
lên gỗ lên từ nó nè.
Jushin after the magic resist nerf.
For DXS.
Oh, for DX.
Maybe that's why they're willing to pick Assassin last.
Want Joy.
Oh.
Trời.
Joy and the Farsa, so the glue is not gonna get punished.
Ta cho chứ này, lên cho chứ. Cho kìa muốn cho kìa cho.
And they do go lane, which is good because the Farsa is gonna have a tough time against the Link, against the glue,
Link chứ
against
này.
the Harif. Looks like Monster Vision is
Chấm khơi Link.
confident that this
Mơ
Farsa
bằng ngày à, mình từ phim lo mơ được miền hả gì đúng. Cả một cô lớn với sơ lo mơ là xa sơ lè assassin à. Bạn lên phải đi link ấy má em nào vài bạn lên mới. Ở bên dương sơ kẻ sơ lên nhà hero à. Một phết. Lo mơ mắt với sơ trụ chân. Bạn linh vào đây trong mắt xinh rồi mơ thì.
You don't completely lose out in the early game, right? Because I kind of feel like the glue as well as the Badal, they do okay-ish damage, but they're not finishers.
Definitely not. But they need those finishes. They need heroes that can really lock in and secure these team fights for them. Because DX Soul is now eager to finally break their 2-1 curse from the regular season. Will they be able to do so? Or will Monster Vicious even it up and bring us to a tie series in the Land of Dawn?
Khơi nè, khơi. Mà con chân này gặp cá xe này. Lip bầu.
A lot of cheering. I'm actually quite impressed.
I know DX Soul has like really, what's the word?
Vocal?
Really active fans.
Yeah, very active fans.
Yeah. Like their families always come to support them, which is actually really nice to see.
Very nice. Now looking at the setup here, looks like everything is as expected. The Jushin even picking up that rupture. So yeah, I think the Exol, they completely understand that they need a little bit of damage, and they're looking at Storm to be the one with the damage. And you were hoping for that Purify. Yes, guys,
Lên từ lối sạt mùi.
is on that Purify. Siska
Đồ
is
nè,
on
nó bà đang là nổi.
Flicker. So far, Siska, hold on, Rossi taking quite a lot of damage. Should be okay though.
Linh lụi ba nữa.
Okay. He has the regen.
Cái bộ quên lên. Mà nói cái nhảy cái skin Edora đằng bọn. Ở đây skin này ta, skin edit ta. Khơi nhập đây cho mà tập 4 ngợp trên bị edit hay mà cho tờ lớn. Skin Edora đấy, skin edit. Nhớ tới skin Edora nghĩ chỗ đây, không thua. Bị Asher là bẫy chăng. Edit ấy chẳng biết tình nổ. Lip bồn. Ngọt Storm ở đây. Cái bay bên này. Xinh anh. Tầm một năng màn tích máu ngọt bắt nữa.
Not a lot of things to stop him because I feel like he saw Rossi already using the frizz break.
Had active.
Giving him like a easier time to get onto Jushin. I would say Jushin, before she gets level 4, much easier to deal with than a Kimi.
And that's why MV aimed for that timing.
Trời, MV với này, vậy nè. Bồn à, tiệt. Cái môn cơ chân này. Khi mình nó cơ nè. Máy thở nó thôi mà. Anh cái món cái đa mà smite pop man. Cái cái lấy hay giờ. Nói chứ đấy. Cái đa lơ món nó smite pop. Trời ơi.
Let me show up in Brilliance, man.
Because like you mentioned, week 4, Siska not having really good performances on the glue. Around the same time, Kimin tried playing the Link and actually did even worse.
Less damage than the EXP and
yeah. So this is already a big improvement.
Yep, for sure. So right now, Monster Vicious still have a bit of an advantage here, especially by how they're playing. Because Nova Escobar and Uni, they're playing much more confidently, and Skyzad has to get away here. It looks like
mà hai need to know với ở trai purify. Tụt thòm đa rồi. Trời ơi mà smite banទៀត.
Looking at the Exo, looks like they're trying to
lông bật, lông ấy, bầm.
Because this guy is ready to catch someone. He just doesn't know who.
Stone gets stunned, the electrifying beats comes out. I don't think either team wants to fight here just yet. The turtle's gonna be up in 40 seconds, so not much a reason to brawl here.
I guess they were just hoping for someone to make a mistake, someone to overextend. Either ways, right now, I believe between both teams.
Tích ngon mình.
Stone is manning up, walking forward, ult back. Wow. That's good because now that the Crimson Beacon is out, I gotta say, the EXO should not contest for that turtle, especially because of their draft. They got a hurry. What's wrong with farming, right? Like maybe try to see if you can get lucky with the steal, but if I was them, I wouldn't take the risk. Yeah, they don't have the full commit to it. They have Keyman who can just kind of jump in and see if he can steal it, but otherwise they can try to play the map instead. So based on the rotation, they are calling SkyZ over, so looks like they want to fight for it.
Yep. And even if they do, hold on.
Electrifying beats.
Chọc chòi vậy đó.
Crack, lockdown Uni. Here comes Keyman. Tempest of Blades comes out. Uni dashes through the turtle pit. He's gonna be safe. Xeno taking a good amount of damage. Grab, gonna pull him backwards as well. Nova Escobar gets locked into the wall. Xeno pops the revitalize. He'll be fine. Now the flicker comes in. Waves the dragon on Siska. Not in the right direction.
Nice.
Secures the turtle. No deaths just yet on the map, but Siska dropping really low. He tries to re-engage Storm as well with Crimson Beacon, setting up for Keyman with Feathered Airstrike.
Ngọp xù xin ngồi. Ngọp bắt đàng rồi đấy.
Double kill for Uni as he picks up Rasti as well.
This is very bad discipline coming in from DXO because again, their draft is not about fighting, especially around the turtle. Around Lord, maybe. This is just not the right timing. I feel like DXO, maybe they got a little bit too hyped up after the win in game number 1 and thinking that Monster Vicious ain't even that good. They can take this risk, and I hope that they learn because keep doing that, and Monster Vicious definitely will win game number 2.
Because that's exactly what's been happening the whole time. Keyman gonna be forced to use Tempest of
Thì lính mẹ có khi mến mẹ nó chặn đao được nghề nhảy mà.
Damage right now. The EXO needs to make sure not to overheat again.
Yep. At least I can say that Keyman did not make a mistake. He did not commit for that turtle fight because he's like, if you guys die, you guys
Nó
die.
muốn ta phay đấy.
I gotta take care of my kid here. And being a jungler, especially as a Ling, you have to be a little bit selfish. You have to be comfortable letting your teams die as long as you get the farm.
Mexico by trying to be annoying. Keyman will still be able to get that purple away. Uni gonna be scouted up top as well. And another gank on SkyZ. Rassi's here to try and stop the Feathered Airstrike, forces the dash away. SkyZ not having a good time in this lane.
At least it doesn't die, right? Because Rossi is just making sure that he's able to scale up. Because losing 2,600 gold, honestly, is not that big of a deal. And now
Smite đã mua.
Like no one is really gonna get anything here.
Smite đây nó smite cái mọi đây.
Monster Vicious doesn't end the game.
Phê rồi.
Definitely DXO will have the advantage.
Yeah, there's a good amount of scaling in the Ling and the Harif, and Keyman will be able to exert pressure through split pushing, which is something Monster Vicious doesn't have quite as much access to. So there is a bit of a timer on them.
3,000 gold here for Monster Vicious. You know, unable to catch Keyman. So far, Keyman has been playing quite well. Oh, it looks like
Crack forces a flicker from
Trời.
Keyman not gonna let him
Ui.
escape, but Keyman gonna be using
Mà chu mình đang conflict từ chui ra từ toàn.
making sure he doesn't get picked. A good disengage after a pickoff. The EXO now in full control over the turtle. Uni looking for a chance to go in. Fist break connected to Electrifying comes out down the force as well. But they're not able to find anything. Revitalize also used. He still gets the turtle away from the EXO. But they will lose Nova in exchange.
Yeah, Uni can't have it, man. It's like, okay, hold on, new guy. All right, I've been here way longer than you. I gotta win this retry battles. Ruff is up top, but the conceal comes in. Rocky catches him.
He's in a top now. He tries to flicker away, but Siska is behind the tower waiting for him as well. Now Uni looking for some revenge. He finds Stone.
Đâu bay vô kiểu hược bào.
Saves him at the last
Uni.
second, and Uni doesn't find the second dash. He is stuck. It's a
Rồi mà. Thằng bà đang đang men hả chứ. Trâu ngô vậy nè, nó màu toàn đây nè. Măng bỏ rồi với mặt. Ra xì nên thần nó mới vui.
Stone literally seeing his life flash before his eyes right there.
Yep. That was good, man. And again, something about Jushin. She can die, but you need to invest much more than usual compared to every other mid laners. Right now, the goal lead went from 3,000 to a measly 400. That's about a 2,000 over gold swing. That's good for DXO.
Yeah, that's after winning a turtle fight and getting a pick up on Uni. That was his first
goal lên tập 500 goal nè mình lên được ăn lít nè.
He actually did
500
have a
goal.
bounty that was given over to DXO, so this is really good for them. Yep.
Right now for DXO, Rossi has been amazing. So I feel like Monster Vicious, they can't really clump up together because if you're, you know, two people get fist breaked, 3, 4,
mơ mấy game
that
nè.
might be the end. Because guys,
Mơ ngồi đưa trong thôi nè.
okay, no one's really there. He just needs space. Give him that space, and he will rock your world in a way that you don't want to.
He is.
Ôi mà lấy sơ lọ mới, sơ trụ chất này. Tranh đổ mùi ní. Tranh đổ mùi Philippines. Lấy trụ chất. Mà lấy mơ ngồi đê chơi mà.
DXO now controlling space around the Lord pit, not really allowing entry. The fist break.
Chơi coi mới.
Electrifying beats comes out. Rossi is stopping him all by himself. Better death strike though, doing a lot of damage, forcing DXO back.
Yeah, now Monster Vicious, they are going to reset the Lord as well. Gives time for Storm as well as Rossi to recover some HP. And now Monster Vicious, they're controlling this. I don't think Kimin should go for it, but if he does, it'll be cool if he gets it.
He's gonna attempt it, but Uni secures the Lord. Tempest Blades comes out. DXO, do they want to fight?
Sing.
Man, stun from Ziska with a revitalize from Zeno. Teaches team top.
Từ ra cái lù. Bùm. Ngoà bà. Tốt flick mới mà. Mấy play định mà trời ơi, chú mà hiền tốt đấy.
Yeah, that was a big mistake coming in from Ziska, but you know, it would be cool if it worked out. But again, hindsight, we see that Ruff does have that flicker, able to run away. So Ziska just has to keep that in the back of his mind. Like, if you want to catch anyone, honestly, it's probably Zeno. Zeno does not have any way to run away.
Oh my goodness, that is so much damage. Uni just blasted Stone in an instant.
And now Monster Vicious, they get the goldie back. That was almost 4,000. And now the Lord marching down bot. Looks like Nova Escobar is gonna try to pull the Lord, and now the Lord even takes down the Holy defense.
Another conceal and feathered airstrike, dropping Rossi down to about 60% HP. He's able to hold long enough to deal with the Lord, but the bottom inhibitor will fall.
Came in says Uni. Did he actually win it? No, he does not win that out, even though he did use the retribution. We gotta look at the items here, because I do wonder how much items does both Sky.
Mà cái bông Spire ngồi đấy hả? Anh lấy cái sơ lòm rồi.
Alright, so that's good. So he has 3 items. Looking far away from the screen, it looks like maybe he has 2 items. I don't see the Berserker Fury. I don't know.
Chú em coi chăm mơ chú make play mà ngay này.
Yeah, Berserker's has claws and then he has 2 legions.
Ấy chẳng làm mà ngay ra tọt rồi. Ê, khải cái để mà ngay tới man support pi lên room rồi. Mà nay mà ngay lên tọt kia này bà tọt kia mấy. Support load Magano rồi mà support bảo pi. Ui vô lên. Yêu chu má mấy cái cuốn cho chu má tục AT chào luôn rồi.
And Monster Vicious is now officially in their comfort zone. This is the mid-game 5v5.
Tốt lắm mắc ở ngốp đó để pha giá mid đi make.
They've already pushed the EXO back into their base, so they're basically gonna have to be playing death ball base defense a lot of time.
Tao bạn đang tôi cả lúa mắc ở ngốp rồi. À có ai cả lúa bay luôn toàn. Mà cả lúa bay luôn toàn man vả. Tao này. Bùm. Lại cồn chào rồi.
The EXO just have to play in their base.
So right now Siska is gonna have a hard time here because both
vô chu má của chạy map kia này.
The wishing
mình vô mà tọt rồi.
So now any front line doesn't matter. Rossi, Siska, Like at this point, DxO, they have to consider that they don't have a front line.
They're still gonna try
Mà
and
conceal mà.
commit to the Lord. Forces a
Boom.
flicker out from Roundel. Here comes
Boom.
Zeno to stop them. Pender there strike doing a lot of damage to Siska. Rossi gonna get kicked away. Siska flickers forward, gets the stun. They jump on Ruff. They slay him. The kill going over to Kimin. Uni is still in the back line. He picks up Siska, but they also trade Zeno for it. Currently 1 for 2.
Nắng lên á. Từ nè. Cho rồi, chọc stand mũi.
Able to back him up. No, because Uni is dealing with Skyset in the back. Kimin somehow still able to dash away though.
He's
Sao
still
chim một tí.
alive? How? Either ways, we did see
Hello.
that Siska is not going to be having a good time here. At this point, Siska can only play when he has that flicker. Flicker in, second skill, and then try to jump onto someone. Because if not, you're going to die, right? Uni as well as Roundel just deals way too much damage. The fact that Kimin survived, I'm shocked.
Yeah, I thought he was dead for sure. So it was a good.
Để mới thua sao tầng A tí sao tầng flick rồi mấy. Mà thấy chứ. Mấy play mới mở, mấy play linh mới mở. Cái rụt bật. Đài cái khơi.
So right now for Monster Vicious, even though Ruff did die, right? I kind of feel like they're still holding the map pretty strong. Especially considering that Ruff didn't have a lot of kills, so it's not that big.
Cháu bọc gì với mấy play tầng early đấy. Không bị bọc gì vậy. Bọc gì với nó thích đấy. Mấy play ping năng vân.
I think he's building up to a Divine Glaive. Divine Glaive with the glowing wand, with the wishing lantern. There's no front line for DxO at this point.
Yeah, you won't be able to survive that no matter how bulky you are. The Federer strike comes out, so it's not gonna eat quite a lot of damage. Also playing around the flank. Lord gonna be bottom wave. The dragon gonna find Kimin. Forces the Tempest Blades out. He dashes away, but Zeno stops him.
Anh ơi.
Dying to the tower. Now the Lord gonna be targeted by DxO. They've given themselves a little bit of space to breathe since there is no wave pushing in mid.
Yeah, DxO so far has been doing quite a good job trying to protect their base. Now you even able to get that flicker away from Roundel. Get a 10 by
Cô mà tụi map chui mà map chui. Hai cái tuột linh miền AT đây. Clue ơi, mối bà đàng ấy mình phổ tuột mau lúc ơi, bông tuột bông này, tuột bông ngộp à. Lại ở trong chat tần linh chập ấy à, ngộp hà giang mấy bạn. Ngọt mà trời. Chỉ có mũi. Pừng. Bắt tốt men. Trời, chạy chưa trời tóc tốt nó quá thế kìa. Ơi. Nó là ngọt mà tốt đấy.
That was scary. I thought Uni might actually commit to that. Skyzed would have died in 2 hits, but looks like he doesn't
mơ
want
chọc chăm từ mơ cô thông lên vinh. Cô thông này. Tao thấy mình flick bắt đấy. Cô Whisking mình đang mệt.
The only item he is aiming for at this point is probably the Malefic Roar, and then it's going to be full
build. So
in terms of damage, both Kimin as well as Skyzed has everything at this point. So
Philippines cái lane nào?
A team fight work at this point.
Cô chăm mơ
And Monster Vicious, they got the win here.
Sao mà tí
DxO, they already have what they want. They already reached their win condition. Now it's all about execution. It's all about the mechanics.
One big team fight is all
Monster
needs to close out this game and bring us
to
the tied series.
Cô đi ngồi đây mấy ngồi đây choi mày ngồi đây. Mà chua nó lên chua toát kìa mình. Lại ngộp choi mà hả? Pum pum. Thì sao toát là cái này? Lục ơi ca toát này. Ê choi mà chủ. Ngộp Seno này. Pum.
Uni comes in, but you're 1v5. That is a mistake. It's a shutdown. Triple kill for Skyzed. But the minions are in the base. Okay, Rasi will make it back.
Hey. Nhưng mình đang thả lúc ơi xu nó có tục toát nè kê lúc ơi. so đằng AT so đằng flick ớt thơ chỉnh
Hold the line.
Alright, they can
Oh
do it.
my goodness.
They can do it. Okay. I was gonna question
hay nó chắc khạc này ở đây nhé
maybe they
ơi
minions to end the game, so they forced a fight.
thì bông cho là chắpนี่มันจับhai đất muốiนี่มันmuối susinมันไอ้ susin ให้มุ้ยhai đất cái sao purify sao đây tôi muốn bóng small cho các game thì đốt nhau mê chủ bạn đang ngay đang glueนี่พอตรวจnó bô mình pha giá môi cái đấy chơi nó tọt má ngộp à
I was wondering that as
ăn
well, because
bô
they
cái sao ở đấy lực
into the synchro vision and got blasted.
cho
But maybe he was just trying to buy some time.
Mơ
'Cause a
cô
little
năng-
bit longer and the
Đang đây,
minions
đang đây, mơ.
actually would have ended the game for Monster Vicious. That is pretty bad news though, because DX Soul are really good at coming back from these sort of positions.
Yeah, we're looking at the numbers here in terms of the KD
Ôi.
goal per minute as well as damage per minute. It does look like, actually no, except for KDA, Uni is doing quite well. Kimin is doing
Boom.
good at KDA, but everything else, Uni has his number. And speaking of which, at this point, they gotta respect that Hardif, man. That damage is not balanced.
They need to try and melt him down as soon as possible. SkyZ cannot be allowed to freely DPS, or Monster Vicious will find themselves in a world of trouble. Up until now, Roundel has been
Của
popping
Philippines nó
better
so phải
than
màn- màn
pull
ti
down
mình-
the
màn
zone,
trồi.
but it might need
Nhưng
to
mà nó
hold
so
up for
4 ti.
SkyZ.
And maybe just don't get into a weird position, right?
Yeah.
nó bị
Kimin
offline
still
rồi
hasn't died yet. SkyZ has died.
là cái channel lang từ grand final sai cái grand final kia
I don't know. I think is it really worth it for Kimin to go over to Rough? Because so far Rough is not that big of a.
mấy play môi má đi ạ
Maybe
ơi
Roundel
anh
is the
ơi
one that you
nhầm
really
tăng
have
trung
to
mùi
focus
chu
on.
nè đi ra
And then you trust everyone else to deal with Uni.
Maybe. It already worked for them in game number 1, so I can definitely see that being a solid way forward.
nó chui lên cái
But
thơi chênh
without
mà
his purple
tao mà nó cái chạm bay bên kia là
have a bit of a hard time.
The thing that
cái
DX
còn đa là
Soul
check map cái
they
đây
need some
chu
kind
nè
of advantage before the Lord spawns. Or they gotta win at this Lord spawn. Because here's the thing, Staffa.
bạn
Monster
đang
Vicious
à
at this
bạn đang
point,
có
if
phân
they
make
wanna make a
make
mistake,
play không
they don't have to force anything, man. Let the minions do the work. Eventually, DX Soul, they'll tire out.
nè một chục một trôi đi make up ta tốt máu ngua bên đây ngót tốt bên đây
Gonna be pulled backwards. Nova holding the flank, but Siska will scout it out. The minions-
tốt máu lục ơi nó cái tên đang ca nữa
DXL can stay long.
Yeah, Monster Vicious again.
anh ơi em coi mơ map
Somebody see the link.
em coi mơ map chu nó mà ngay tốt máu à trời tốt nó đang bánh ơi
Beats face crack lockdown Uni, so he's not actually
ơi lục ơi
And Rasi is able to dash away. This is actually not a bad timing now for DX Soul. They're
But the
able to
minions-
regain more ground.
Oh, the minions. Oh,
tốt
the
flick
mid-nerf.
bầu máu ngọt ba đây nè
Everyone has to back off, and now Monster Vicious, they get
ơi lục ơi
Crimson Beacon away. Uni nearly dies. He does. He loses immortality. He pops the Winter Crown, gonna try to switch, but Tempest
Rồi.
finishes him off. It's a killing spree for Keeman. And all the while, Rasi is defending at home.
Yeah, Siska trying to delay. He's actually able to get Zeno.
Nhiều
And
vài
upstairs,
Zeno
he's
ấy.
just waiting for his ult. He's just
Ngọt ba
waiting
này.
for the Zama force. Nobody's going trying
miền
to
tây
run
nào đổi
away.
chu nè
It looks
À,
like
Flick.
DX Soul, they're juggling this
mình đang
well.
bảo trai flick á không
How are they juggling it this well?
combo flick bạn đang mình đang mang ngon ba đây nhưng mình chưa ta pro player cho mình chơi combo flick cái nha combo flick mà nó bạn đang ngon mà rồi bây giờ sẽ cho toàn up này nè cái toàn up lên mai không nên nó chừng ai ở mấy bị của này sao tốt chừng ơi trời ơi
I don't know, man. Like DX Soul, they got the tenacity, they got the thrill. They're pretty swift with it. They even have a master assassin, and I'm pretty sure there's a quantum charge somewhere there.
Probably. Lord's gonna be targeted once again. This time all 5 members of the XOL are around. This could be it. Roundel looking for the flanks. Zeno gonna re-engage. Feather Strike doing good damage. Lord dropping low. Tempest Ablaze comes out. He's be zoned away. SkyZ kicked as well. But he's inside the pit. He's totally safe. The Lord secured by Keeman. No deaths. But DXOL got what they were looking for.
Oh.
nhằm cho
Keeman
ngao
has
tận
been
rịch
practicing
ọt bòn
on
vô
this
mà
lane for a while. Not the most aggressive compared to a lot of the junglers that we've seen, but he's being very disciplined. Like, the thing about DX Soul is that they're minimizing as many mistakes as they can. And now Monster Vicious, it's sad to say, but it looks like they're choking a little bit. It's like they're starting to lose ideas. DXO is just overwhelming Uni to the point where
Nhóm
he
kèn
can't
giờ
make
ba
a
mùi
decision
thu
for
đi
the
món
team.
nhé.
This is what I talked about with the win condition for MV. They tend to tire out once you get into the late game. His crack comes out. Uni uses electrifying beats. He'll be fine. Lord still slowly pushing up bot lane.
Yep. Monster Vicious, they're in trouble. DXO, can they finally do it? Can they actually get 2 wins in a row? They've never done that for years at this point.
Pretty much. Monster Vicious need to find SkyZ. They need this Harif gone if
Cái này
they
cho
want
map
to
chui
stand
mà
a chance
toàn
at
cái
a
mới có
direct
toàn này kìa.
team fight.
À, bạn thì chào bạn ấy mãi này.
Rossi is
Ơi.
a big problem for Monster Vicious at this point. The only reason Monster Vicious
Tao mà lót thắng tớ.
like kind of loses it out,
Pừng.
they get baited, man. A lot of skills used before anyone
Nova
gets
nhắm
the
tới
team.
Clyde
And
kê
not
cho
even
vậy.
this game, even the previous game.
Lord is crashing in.
Nè so flick so AT giờ mới chú. Mấy play với má trời ơi.
Well,
Mừng.
Monster Vicious in defense mode. The Feathered Airstrike gets cancelled by Rossi and a stun goes in. Ruff gonna be locked down. Tempest of Blade chases him down. No death just yet. Rossi still alive. Hasn't lost immortality. Revitalize already used by Zeno as well. He gets knocked down.
They're
Pulled back.
doing it.
Immortality is down. Burnt. Unstoppable SkyZ. He found Uni. The Exalt have broken through. The curse has been broken.
Ơi.
Game.
Chú đi không bên đây mà bia ở đây.
I can't believe it, man.
Đào cả con nha.
Finally done it. For years,
Chú đi
even
ăn em
in
bằng
the
bia mấy này.
MPL, they can never get 2 wins.
Sao vậy? Sao vậy? Chấmហើយតន់ចូលនឹងហើយនៅភាសិនចាំតិចអត់ទេឈូនេះអត់មានអីមកបៀកហ្មងហ្នឹងហ្គេមគេឈរឲ្យបោកមួយថ្ងៃបោកគេអត់ចេញអើយមែនទីកូននឹងតែលេងអត់កើតមែនគិតមើលមិនហ្នឹងអាកន្លែងនោះត្រូវនុក flick គេໄວអត់ໄວនុកទៅទាត់ផ្អឹបជាងហើយគ្នានៅចង្អាយអងមេឃអើយខ្ញុំអត់យល់ចាំតិចនេះនៅគេតន់ចូលឯគេនៅសភាមនុស្សឡើយកាយ caption diction អត់ល្អមើលគេអត់ល្អឯមើលយកទៅមិនលេងសាច់តាំងទ្រូងមួយគេតាំងទ្រូងមួយឈូខ្ញុំតាំងទ្រូងនេះគេតាំងទ្រូងមួយឈូហើយអូយព្រះអង្គហើយខ្ញុំអង្គុយមើលឈូនឹងគេការតអត់គេការត
For the golden question, right? We're talking about price range. Let's kick things off first with the Sakura chair. Honey Glaze, David, I think it's now time for you to announce it. How much are the chairs starting off with Sakura?
For Sakura chairs, our original price was 21,449.
តើបងចូលគូធំឲ្យចូលឡើយ
But
ចូល
our
ឡើយ
introductory price in the Philippines is only 14,999.
Wow.
But there's more. If you use the voucher MPL 2000 in our website, it will give you a 2,000 pesos discount, making it only 12,999.
So we started off from 21,
21,
and then
yes.
we dropped it all the way to
Tập này cho like cho xem này mọi người.
999. That's insane.
Exclusively
That's
using the
insane.
MPL 2000 voucher.
Okay, MPL 2000 voucher, go at it already. But I think there's different prices with the other chairs, right? How about the Kakashi one?
The cashew one is actually our most expensive, but of course, there are still surprises. The cashew
នេះ
one
share បានមក
also
គ្រប់ពីគ្រប់
goes
មើល
to
MPL PH បងមើលនេះពងនឹងភ័យ MPL PH អើយមើល MPL មិននឹងមើល MPL បងមកលេងនឹងវាងួយដេកមែនតែនបដ ாய் វាលក្ខណៈថាលេងអត់សូវស៊ីសវៈគ្នាហើយណាមួយទេ
Finally, at 16,000.
តាំងទ្រូងឈូចយគេ
So again, from
អើយ
24
ឈូ
to
ឈូ
16, right?
Huge bargain.
ដឹងពីអង្គណាទេអើយ
I wouldn't say that it's not bad. It's a solid deal, right? I'm not gonna lie. Now I'm moving forward to, we've already mentioned Sakura, Kakashi, Sasuke.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about
Sasuke.
Sasuke this time?
Honey Lace.
Sige, kasi crush ko si Sasuke. Magsisimula ang aming original price niya with Sasuke. It's 21 rather, 21,499. Introductory price is going to be 15,999. And syempre, going down for real with the new price here is 13,999.
I cannot believe it. From 21 to 13,999 using the code MPL 2000, right?
Yes,
You have
MPL
another
2000.
one, I believe. Right,
I
Hans?
know. Yeah.
Naruto.
There you go.
Ayan.
Of course.
Hindi pwedeng mawala si Naruto.
Hindi
So,
pwede.
from Naruto and Sasuke, since magka-rivals naman sila, syempre, in the series, almost the same naman yung price range nila. So, nagsimula ito with 21,499, introductory price going to 15,999, and with the use of the MPL 2000, it's going down for real with 13,999.
There we finally have it. I am sure that there are a lot of people looking forward to that. So again, Kalusi, that is MPL 2000. Yan ang gagamitin nyo na vouchers. David, Honey Glaze, it's so nice to be here with you guys
Thank you for
today.
having us. Thank you.
Maraming salamat. And the question is, are you guys ready?
Super ready.
Are you guys ready?
We're very ready.
Okay. Champions Arena.
Hug out bond.
Are you ready?
Hug. Hey, full live stream ơi.
Ng Team Liquid. Papatalo naman ba ang Team Falcon?
Trời mà những fan tầng Pi với tầng Liquid tầng Falcon nè. Kết lắm nè.
The first one of this
Bài chạy
season.
mà lại tiền
And with that
dư.
being said, players, time to shine.
Tại sao dương ôn định bên đấu này.
To oversee and uphold the tournament's integrity in this titanic battle are Juve, Chico, JJ, and Patrick, our marshals.
Đặc hình như complete chơi lại như xe này ơi.
Of the Titans, but only one of them can take the step towards immortality. Team
Demon
Liquid
Khải.
versus Team Falcons. The EX
Sậy nè.
Sanford and
Carl TC.
TZ.
Đấy flap. Sanford. Trời mà còn khơi mốc score đâu đời.
In the jungle, Carl TZ versus Kyle TZ.
Ủa nó không thể biết cái gì cái này. Carl TZ.
It's like looking at a mirror.
Carl TZ fan đi ta fan Carl TZ ta.
Versus few in the mid lane.
Chù. Đấy cái đâu ta thế. Nhóm fan bong ok. Chú lại xem mà boom.
The
Cú
road
thông lên này.
between
Tập bây giờ lên nhưng mơ lên nhưng mơ cũng to rôn này. Open. JP. Super Marco.
The regular season MVP Ohab versus Bulletproof Super
Marco.
And their coaches.
Chứ chờ lắm hô hấp này mau không mẹ. Tao bật Han Chi rồi. Han Chi là mau không mẹ.
Falcons, Coach Trevor.
Ohab Super Marco. Super Marco ping bãi đùng. Super Marco ping bãi đùng. Nhưng vậy trăng Team Liquid lang tới sao lo mời ta bà Team Falcon lang tới đừng lo mơ rồi biết rồi mà hiểu mấy này Team Falcon lang tới cú đừng tao lo mơ rồi biết rồi gì đâu nhắm trăng ơi Team Falcon lang tới Grand Final gì hiểu mấy này Team Falcon lang tới cứ đừng tao lo mơ semi final Grand Final cuối sao ta ស្ទើរពួកអ្នកធ្លាប់លើកអំសេរី
It's been a tough time going for
ជាខា TC មិនលើកដូចជា M4
first series against Team Falcons and yesterday's
M5 Onyx
Philippines. We haven't really seen them completely click. San has been answered so far little bit by Falcons, mostly so
ចង់ឲ្យយល់បើឥឡូវចង់ឲ្យឡើងហ្នឹងគឺ Falcon
well they have the regular
Falcon
season
ឡើងមក Air Sniper ឬ
right there. And so far he struggled, but if he steps up today, if Falcons cannot solve him, then they will struggle. Meanwhile,
អត់ដូរណាដូរ roster តាំងពីជំនាន់នៅ brand e-sport
and Super Marco yesterday led the charge against Aurora.
roster នៅដែរ KTC ព្យូអុក When Super Marco មួយ Flat TC ហ្នឹងអត់មានបែកគ្នាមកបៀបដែរប្រហែលឆ្នាំហើយអូយអាចជំនាន់ឡើងមិនណាយមានអត់ទៅវាយគ្នាទេ
13 team MVPs, Super Marco 10 team MVPs.
That's right. Super Marco also just proving to be one of the most consistent laners in terms of the lowest average depth, and as well as not the highest. And Kyle Deasy has actually been flexing his people a lot on that jungle.
Yeah.
Bringing on some really cool stuff.
Yeah, you mentioned Hero Pool, Team Falcons 54 over the 39 of Team Liquid. Team Liquid run a very tight ship, and it's led them to success in the regular season, ending that with the top 1 seed. But they need to show more. If they have any other cards hidden, they need to show it now. It's elimination. If they want to make it to the grand finals, if they want to go to MSC, then they really need to flex the heroes that they haven't
Lord
shown
control
yet, because so far they've been struggling in the
ខាង Falcon ធំជាង Lord control total control តែថខាង liquid វិញ
The nerfing of the Ranger has really affected the performance of Team Liquid quite a bit, especially now that they have to really adjust. Although they still have a really decent win rate using the Harry in that gold lane. Flexing out the new gold lane options are actually one of the big key factors I'm looking at for TLPH.
Yeah, there seems to be something about the second half of the draft for Team Liquid, especially in their series against Falcons. Yes, they won that, but they were tested every time in the second half.
That's right. Oh, when? Hey.
The one that got away.
Sure.
Totga mo yung flap, Totga. Ayun na. Sunod-sunod na. Nice leash, Dad. Dali. Iwok nila yung bap. Uy, may nakikrinig ka. Uy, meron tumama.
Everything is under control. I wanna see TC and JP connection. So, OM, malayo pa pero malayo na. Pero, manalo matalo guys. Maki ko kayo. Be confident guys and just play the game. No matter what happens, show them who you are.
What I like about Sanji, he doesn't have to worry us with the translations.
Yeah.
He just loves us no matter what.
Yeah, good words of wisdom coming in
Okay.
from Sanji.
Of course, that's our smart thing test, bring you low latency gaming with smart fluid promo.
Subscribe to Only 5G with non-stop data for non-stop gaming on your favorite loading platforms or at the smart booth right outside the MPL venue.
And in just a few minutes, we're going to be going into the
God,
nitty-gritty
Lộc ơi.
of this matchup. You can see the players are very serious. This is their serious infinite piece to victory.
This is what we were talking about for Team Liquid. Adapt to survive the final fight for immortality. Flex more heroes. It seems like they've got into this playoffs thinking, what we showed off in the regular season, that is more than good enough. Let's just switch up some things. But those things haven't really completely worked out. There were some things that have been hit or miss. So show more, show else what you got to the table. Especially if you can get Sanford and more heroes that are so active and deal damage, that'll be great. Continue to showcase tenacity and punish errors. That's how Falcons were able to win against Aurora. They did not let up. They will back off. They decided to continue fighting. Team Liquid though are also really great at that, but we haven't seen enough of it cleanly. They need to be cleaner this time around. Best of 7 series is a battle of endurance. The community beat has been, it seems like, as the playoffs goes on, it becomes a draft battle. It becomes a flex between coaches. So Time to shout out Coach RC for Team Liquid and Coach Trevor and Falcons. You guys are going to be testing each other today. Whoever can adapt more, whoever can flex more, and maybe even show up some new tricks, probably win.
That's actually really true because I
Probably win.
actually been watching the broadcast here, and I think they mostly really indicate like whenever like the whole panel kind of agrees that oh my god this draft is good, they do win a lot.
Yeah.
So
Size
is a big
size lesson up.
here, and the team just they have a set way of playing these
Blue side.
specific competitions.
Chơi blue side mình.
Like they also kind of just read into each other. So I'm wondering if
Mình là first pick nhỉ?
Liquid PH can actually
Thì cái đã blue side với cái đã first pick selection mà.
Yeah, and those new things have to be something
First
that
pick selection mà.
can make Super Marco struggle. Because he's been popping
Team
off
Liquid
since
nữa.
yesterday. He looks absolutely hell-bent. And even in the last game against Team Liquid Philippines,
Draft pick.
Mpl Ph were the ones
Trời ơi.
able to take
Trời mà.
victory. Oh, I love how our crowd
7
that mic up
7
there. You can hear them all just shouting.
Mùi.
They are pumped. They are ready. We're going to draft for game number 1.
Trời.
I think we're not gonna
Cox
be alone
three.
this time around. Are we gonna be able to get some
Chip
help?
clear Fanny ban.
Request back.
Susin ban.
I am here. See, I carried it over up until day number 4.
Really pushing that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Liquid first
what do
pick.
you think? Bands, first pick predictions right away. Do you have any?
Ở giúp sao?
I
Sân
think
chủ.
the Joy is the only thing so far that can
Kimmy, ban Kimmy mùi nè. Mọi bà Kimmy cái first pick việc bạn đây nè. Kimmy. Ban Kimmy. Không ai cái lên Kimmy nữa.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. It's a best of 7. We'll get a lot of opportunities for bringing up to shout out the Brigadoons. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So for now, yeah.
Trey
I really
ball.
like seeing here, obviously the Hayabusa, just because the Kakashi chair is just so good. And apparently, it's really high quality.
Yeah, they might be listening, you know. They might be starting to think of something else. I mean, the few times they actually
Ta
tried
xuống đây.
it really didn't work, especially
Cái first pick Kimmy với đây.
that first series
Bạn
that
chói
they
với này.
had against Team
Chói là
Falcons.
đường thông đấy.
Struggled, so
Cảm ơn sân mình đã lấy chói là muốn đây thì chói đấy.
out.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Jusen's gone. Are they gonna fight for Low Yi
Yeah.
this time around? With Kalea
Kimmy.
gone as well. Some of the high profile
Harden.
picks.
Wow.
What a swerve by Team Liquid.
Kimmy,
So right,
Kimmy cái này chưa?
to be able to give OM
Kimmy cái này chưa mà.
fastest farming hero, 793 gold per minute this season, and Harris is one of the fastest farmers we have in game.
Talking about that, I think OM's hero pool has been really the one that they're trying to really
Nắng.
manage,
Kimmy mà.
making sure that he has a really
Kimmy cái này
good
chưa?
game. So the other teams,
Mù roi phía rồi.
members of the team can actually
Ôi.
participate a lot easier.
Bà xỉa với nhỉ.
Yeah, they pick up the Babsha, not just the Badang, which I also would have considered at this point since it's been a very high priority for Team Falcons.
Tiếp tục
But
Kimmy cho này.
again, this doesn't reveal much just yet. The flex factor in the Babsha and
Kimmy đã kẹt vô rồi.
already
Bà
know
chào.
that Super
Bà Kimmy
Marco
counter Kimmy rồi.
will really end up with this Granger anyway, considering that they left it.
Bạn muốn game plan sao mà nhỉ?
7 out of how many games that they played in the playoffs,
thử
and
ca.
also against the BPI rich guy.
Yeah. All right. So if you're Team Liquid Philippines, you already have a lot of magic damage. I think you need more crowd control to help supplement the Harif. Eve wouldn't be too far-fetched, but the difficult thing is you don't see the junker on the other side yet. So it's either going to be the Eve or the Farsa. Considering that they banned out the Hayabusa, why
Veteran
Why go for the Eve or the Farsa when you can get Sanji on his comfort pick on the low E? You get Carl TZ on the front.
Đây rồi miền đá chán là vạ lên chứ ai. Miền Veteran mà đây.
We're so used to having the Logi band down. Actually, stick that mic as well. And there you go.
Bà xỉa đi room rồi. Anh vô mid lane môn này. Bà vô mid lane cái anh đừng cái bên mid lane chào tích bà luôn bây giờ. Luka muốn đấy. Luka hay Burpee. Cao thì gì?
Yeah, exactly. Bringing a Lucas has been like the go-to answer now for lineups that have Fredrin in the jungle. You pick up the Lucas in the jungle.
Yeah, and I feel
Got
like even
jungle.
towards those instances where we see the chip, and the Louis is not too far from that. You go for a diversion play, you see everyone come in, and suddenly force a fight, and the Lucas is just
Ôi, sắp bãi đồn.
unleash the beast, immediately respond
Bãi
back
đồn nó
to
thì
the
nó
fight, and be just as confident in doing so. So they've already answered some of the potential engagements that we will be seeing later on from Team Liquid Philippines. But now they're narrowing
Mpl Ph,
down the options
BCC.
in the EXP lane. I feel like this is the perfect time to see what we've been talking about, or what you guys have been talking about. Sanford might want to pick something that can amplify the damage that Team Liquid Philippines can provide.
If they want more damage, more mobility. By the way, good to see more of the 2% in the arena. The arena is really filled up. Sanford, I would like it if you would consider Benedetta, please. Open up the map, you get more damage considering that you have a Fredrin in the jungle with you. It's been a while since we've seen Sanford play the Benedetta.
Mpl Ph này.
It was a treat.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Bạn chắc Mpl Ph ở Sanford bay liền. Lên vào đây.
Might see something like a high low speed. We're gonna catch up coming in.
Oh wait.
Thoát tiết trời này ơi.
Yeah, Fredrin Arlott combo finally happens too.
That could be a possibility.
I mean, the Louis Arlott has been a duo ever since, right?
Yeah.
Ôn camera vô chết mơ vậy.
Priority ever since.
Well, but we can't completely turn off the
Bên Bà Lan chào rồi, bên Bà Lan là cái copy Lucan.
That looks like one route that they
Bên
can take if they decide to go for it. If it's not going to be a damage EXP laner, Team Liquid Philippines can still go for something tanky like a
Badang
and whatnot. And considering that they're picking up a Badang, it's a really great ban because Team Liquid Philippines are playing a very tight formation. Clue is still up on the board. I didn't forget Clue this time.
Clue.
I didn't forget Clue this time.
Yes.
Either of these two teams could pick up Clue and it would be good.
I love the Masha.
Clue vô mà chia co đi mà, chia co Fredrin.
Send that bomb everywhere on the map and make Falcons one. If there is a waiting a wild Masha in a bush.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the diversion, right? So, but
Machida.
through. So the Lucas Matilda combo.
Yeah.
It'll be present for Team Falcons, and even Super Marco will have a way easier time to get out of trouble.
Flying.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure we're going to see that again. Falcons rotate around the map fast. I think Team Liquid Philippines, either they match up with a Benedetta again at the EXP lane for the rotational speed, or they double down on a tight formation, slow front-to-back composition with something like a Clue or Terizla in the EXP lane. It's very tanky on the side of Falcons with a slower front line with a Baksha and or Lucas, so an export in the EXP lane might make some sense as well. A lot of options for Sanford.
Chứ cái đã buông block. Bay Osborne mình. Keren chơi Arlott Franco. Chỉ lo với đấy khách cái lane man game, cái lane pram game tại make man đã đo buôn block này. What the? Chứ nè buôn man chứ nè chứ man bay Osborne mà được.
Get the vision and pick up a Selena for few right away, or are they gonna try to play it safe?
Chung.
What else is there? Oh, the Pyramus is there too. If they ever want to like
Chung.
survive the fight a little longer.
Là chấn về mà đó.
Pyramus, they have the Eve. Oh, good call there, Brigida. Pyramus blocked in by few.
Gosh.
Ooh, okay. The Pyramus wants to stick close
Insane.
together. Team Liquid Philippines are good against that. But Falcons can rotate around the map faster, so I'm at a 50-50 here. Bring it in.
Let's go, guy.
It's always been a 50-50 whenever I see the Titans of MLBB. But this time I'm just so excited to see
Ba
the
Osborne nữa.
Louis Arlott combo in the side of Team Liquid Philippines. I feel like it'll add another element of surprise. But hopefully it works for Team Liquid Philippines.
All right, I hear you, Liquid.
Một production kia nha. Em quá.
Okay, I'm sorry, Falcons guy.
Nah, don't worry, it's gonna be a good one.
It's the legendary face-off here. Represented, you got a rep.
Thằng này lại xem là mua gì?
For the 2% squad. I love that. That's a new title. So we're gonna go into it, into the land of dawn. Game number 1, lower bracket finals, best of 7 casters.
Oh, best of 1 man. Trời. Lower bracket sao? Lên bao giờ bệnh? Chứ cái cai đi kìa, cai form mà kìa. Nhưng mơ được bố smart rồi, phải nào phải chịu. Best of the one brother.
I didn't, but considering it's few, the way he saves Team Falcons acting as the captain, you cannot disregard Faramis when it comes to Team Falcons.
Yeah, it's been a storyline we've been discussing even yesterday with Leo on the panel, how Team Falcons just seems to always be ready to save one another whenever it's needed. And it's not just that, like individually, they're really looking prepared. I mean, look at those 2 purifies on Few and Open.
We saw this yesterday, but in the hands of Mpl Ph too. I mean, they're vitalized also from Flap TZ with the backshow. But if you can recall correctly, we've been seeing a trend wherein players actually, use the heroes that they had trouble with. They want to prove something this time. Few using the Paramis. This was the hero he used when they lost against TLPH early on in the playoffs.
Oh, that's such a throwback, right? It just happened the other day, and it has struggled in to some extent. But I think we could say the same for the Fredrin. That was also a losing hero for Team Liquid Philippines the first time they decide to show it up. But I feel like this time there is a significant difference in terms of how they're able to complement what the Fredrin can offer, especially when it comes to the team. They're not gonna just leave anyone behind.
Đăng này nó đăng rồi, mày đã đăng này này. Cái này nó đào từ muốn có đào mình. Mẹ chú đi đăng à.
Want to do that? Liquid already started. Just the first turtle in. Few put down one third of his health.
Chú này cái cái riêu cho mày.
Now the turtle has been started. Flap easy trying to zone them out. Here comes the unleash the beast.
Like a lot but Chơi cho Senchi rồi.
Here comes another round from Few.
Cal.
Continue on as TLPH disperse.
No kills for Falcons. They lose the
Chơi tao cho lù chi nè.
What's going on?
Yeah, and Team Liquid Philippines didn't have to use much of their resources. There wasn't a final slash that came in from Sanford. He just in the members of Team Falcons.
Cái khai tao thò mỗi cái bố kia mà lũ trang gọi là bởi ai kia bà lên cổ với này em anh nói cái việc kia lấy từ hai cái ban tao thò cái đinh mà lũ sạch rồi stress một cái em mà là khát tao từng o cái chân đánh ban sạch bị bay máu về đừng ban gold win class. Phải là ban được thò đó ở sau lead goal khang pha còn cái chán cái mà lùi sạch ban pi cọp. Em mà hay game armor mùi sập mà cô.
He's calling on Daddy JP, let me try to get a free kill here. Open to the rescue. So far, both teams just checking range, making sure that this next turtle will be a better go. Because again, a freak of nature, like how often does that happen?
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned that in terms of range and reach, Team Falcons has it all. In terms of reach, there's the backshot paired up with the Matilda, and range from Super Marcos, and they can be as aggressive as possible because the extended team fights clearly will favor later on Team Falcons.
Damn straight. While Liquid wants to play in that short range, they're playing with jabs, they're playing with straights, maybe a few hooks, but nothing to check range really, except for that hook. That's the only thing that they want, and I mean hook like a punch and a hook like an actual hook, legit. Daddy JP changing the game. The last time we saw Franco in the playoffs was what? In the hands of Yaoi.
Hook bên
a valiant effort, but now second turtle spawning, upper quarter, Flap TZ versus the scene, Carl TZ holding ground.
Again, Flap TZ.
Is
it going to be a bloody hunt? On to Few, Few's the first.
Slap trời vậy JP đi.
Might go for Sanford. Shockwave blast wasn't enough to tear him down.
Like Few rồi nè.
Lost their captain.
Falcons back to business, taking that turtle down. Half health. JP, no ult. Maybe has a hook.
Teleport.
Okay. Now. Still, Carl TZ will secure it. TLPH still wanting to go for more, but right in the nick of time, Few comes in with an go right after JP.
JP
Carl TZ was there. Energy eruption to bring down two. Wanna make it three as Sanji picks up two.
Thôi. JP mình nó slap chơi mày. Nếu mình slap sao ấy? Cái flick từ chắp pha là miếng làm bay cái cái pel đó pel ở Franco từ chắp là cái môi chứ cái bao AT khổ quá. Ở trong đó cái flick từ chắp pha là miếng mong làm bay cái bao AT. Em mà hua.
Carl TZ has been doing a lot considering the fact that JP is on the Franco. You can expect him to go with.
Trời học ơi smite rồi. Học bộ smite.
So Carl TZ will be the main tank of TLP.
Cái này ăn ngon mà. Cái show nó lát chè.
They were a afraid of him, so they did not check what was in the bush, and it was a wild card easy. What happened?
Ngọc open. Ngọc open nè thì đây đừng ấy.
Was simply trying to provide some information as well for Super Marco, since there are a lot
Grab
more
cho
faster
Super Marco
rotations
rồi.
from Team Liquid Philippines happening right now.
Oh god, Carl Teasy.
Bạn ngó rồi.
Marco's face here.
Khả.
Forced
Mùi
reaction Team Falcons to give enough space.
Flap anh thua rồi.
Here comes the shield unity.
Cái bộ quên
Flap
nữa.
is caught out by
Ê!
You have to watch out for the hook, 'cause there is Daddy JP again.
Trời!
As Sanji picks up one more. Netherrealm power.
JP.
Coming in from Carl TZ, but he cannot out-sustain anything TLPH is throwing at them.
A second off timing. It's the same trap that Falcons fell for post turtle.
The heck?
Oh my god, one more!
Unbelievable timings from Team Liquid Philippines. And
Trời.
Diversion to Marco. Sanford with the final slash speed to
Ê,
kill off the
thêm Liquid không bao chó đi.
huge strong start for
Ui.
I
cavalry.
think it's safe to say this is what
Liquid
they
không
call
bao
in the
chó
business
đi.
a liquid stampede.
we haven't seen this yesterday. They missed doing this kind of gameplay, and it's so interesting to see how confidently they answer back to hold on.
Ngọc chù điều đây.
You can't do that with the ult of the Franco. Few again will drop down in exchange for the turtle that TZ will be getting.
A Pyrrhic victory for Falcons. They sacrifice few for
Lead 3K goal.
That is the last turtle of the game, but they
3K
lose
chất 4K
top
đấy.
tier 1. Liquid are winning trades.
Yep, it's been a very efficient
Boom.
early game so far. 10-1 is the kill score. And you see how dominant Team Liquid Philippines are playing this game.
Cái teleport mà bay vào.
Element yet again.
Flap bông. Học trơ tiết rồi mà.
Turret down bottom also goes down.
The way Liquid
À mình đang slap hòm rúi em nè.
It seems personal. This is for the reverse sweep.
Cái mà cái bộ ESP bạ vào đấy.
They are proving to the cavalry.
Mùi mà.
That this is how they play.
Carl TZ jumps in. There comes the energy eruption and circling eagle. The Super Marco wants to dish out the damage to try and save the mid lane turret, but the stampede
Pha con nhóm định
cannot
một
be
cái.
contained.
Thêm pha con nhóm.
Team Liquid Philippines are just able to deal
Rồi
with
chạy mất mày.
strengths.
Đây mùi với ta rồi mà.
When it comes to the team fight,
Tranh
despite
mind
the
game
presence
kìa.
of Unleash the Beast, despite the presence of the Netherrealm, Team Falcons, they use all those resources at once, but it's not enough.
Netherrealm seems nothing but a blankie to Team Liquid Philippines. Ammo. This is legit firepower they're playing with. I didn't expect that much damage to come out of this lineup. This version we set up here by Sanji. Falcons have fallen for it, not a third time.
Oh, but they have to watch out because Sanford has his flicker and also
Flap.
ready to be expended. A response.
Flap cho off tiêu đấy. AT cover. Ăn bác AT chui kìa. Ê chơi phiếu. What the? Chơi chô.
But a beautiful hook once again from JP. Super Marco survives, but not for long.
Tàu với ơi.
Down in exchange for two. Clash still going on. Caltizi sets his eyes on Sanji. Might be able to take him down. But Sanji, the chef is cooking now.
Oldwin coming in.
Ê chơi, Owen.
Trying to close the gap. Takes down.
Hơi bay vậy.
And it's him and Sanji.
Bay thân chi vậy.
Carteasy going for purple. Steals it. Sanji staying.
Divergent.
Teleport
Sanji's gonna back off now. After that long clash, it seems like still TLPH won that trade.
It was insane. There was a beautiful block that Carl TZ already attempted to do. He tried to block
Rồi mà mình xu sale AT tục chui. Cái lên trên này. Bác chui nè, bác mình nói bác chui. Bác xìa. Cái hero frontline nhé, hero Bentley nhỉ. Chui không cho tục chui kho hero mình.
Yeah, and not to mention, out of the 5 Falcons ready to charge in, JP was on point with his iron hook. He got the bulletproof.
Marco couldn't flicker out of range. There was just too much happening in the trenches, in the paint, as I call it. Liquid now, starting to dance. They're aware the Falcons are here. I don't know if they know what's in the Y brush.
Chú hiện là tơ ma đến cái chặt bay thì là. JP fit bay tơ chặt được là. Chắp am siêu một tiết là làm bạn là thật đang lọt nó bàn kìa. Rồi map này. Flap. Flap.
Energy eruption already casted down. Flap TZ popped his revitalize. TOPH caught Falcon out of their position.
Drop shoot đi lấy.
Full control of this Lord.
Nothing off Liquid sleeves. Save for now. Take control of the pixel brush. Falcons, though, very cautious. They're afraid. They're respecting this almost 5,000 gold lead.
Yeah. If it's not going to come from the diversion of Sanji, it's going to come from the final slash and flicker from Sanford. And Team Falcons are wary of that. That's why they cannot just come in and Sanford good with the zone. TOPH 8k gold health left for the Lord.
Ôi!
Chuột thì ra. Secures it. Final slash coming in from Sanford as they break.
Sanford té 3-4 em nhé.
They flicker in. They caught Few. They sandwich Few. And now a diversion to cut
teleporter bị khó chứ. Rồi top nữa. Đây. Sorry mà một pha nữa.
They take no prisoners. Dog walking Falcons after the Lord. Trading Sanji for it and everything else on the map.
It was JP on that perfect timing with the bloody hunt. Kyle TZ
Rồi mà nó Sanford té bị bên này nhé.
they were about to fight for the retry battle. There was the bloody hunt that was waiting for him.
How often does it happen that the big dog gets the one bitten down on? That's what we needed to bite. Again, JP has been a man possessed. He's been in a trance. Bite Few when it matters. Bite Marco when it matters. Now it's bite Kyle when it matters.
Team Falcons has to face the fact that the Lord is sieging in onto the top lane. With the lead established by Team Liquid, they can get not just one, but maybe even two inhibitor turrets. So Team Falcons forced to defend this circle. As Kyle TZ goes in with the unleashed base.
Không bay team fight vậy. Đạt Sanford rồi đây. Còn bên nhóc trồ lắm. Tiên rồi vậy.
You mess with the dog, you get bit. Falcons clapping back.
Sồn độ bay rồi. Bị tụng một lẹt với ngay pha con nhầm. Ôi mà nó tan cho buôn này. Cái tiếng bùm.
That Liquid didn't consider it was just the damage output Falcons had. What was that, 6k between them? And still Falcons were punching that hard? Yeah, Liquid got that coming.
Yeah, unfortunately for Falcons, they only lost one inhibitor turret in exchange for 3. Was able to even take away the mid lane turret plus the purple buff away from Carl TZ. So now, slowly, they're diminishing the lead.
And that is why Falcons took that fight up top. They knew that the wave in mid wouldn't crash in so hard, and they risked it. They let that turret go down to half health, and now they can recover. They have about a minute of peace on the map because Lord is spawning in about 30.
Yeah, and if you saw the gold earlier between these two teams, it's not that far. It's not that too big of a gap that exists between Team Liquid Philippines and Falcons on a lane-to-lane basis. And this is probably why Team Falcons is just as confident to engage as well. Like, they can rely on the damage that they can get from Super Marco, that they can rely on the damage that they can get from Kyle TZ. And it's surprising to see them in this kind of situation, despite the map control, despite the early dominance that Team Liquid Philippines has shown us. Because Team Falcons, their lineup, they can just go in all in at once.
Maybe this is what I should have been worried about. Not the early to mid game damage, but late game. Because look.
Thôi mấy cầm ở JP chắp siêu bán này. Ta chấp siêu bán thôi nè.
Are you gonna get smacked by a Fredrin, by a Franco over and over again?
And not to mention that will be coming from Few and of course from Ogwin. But again, the surprise factor is still there for Team Liquid Philippines. If Team Falcons wants to play a 5-man as a team, TOPH has enough kit to individualize the formation of Team Falcons.
Yep.
They have complete item builds.
Full item như thế.
JP also picking up the fleeting time. So
Flap up tan đấy vậy.
Successful bloody hunt.
Flap nó cái tế bãi một thôi mà.
Eventually convert into a pick-off. Then that will allow them to just proceed with the fights, even though it becomes a prolonged team fight. It probably wouldn't be a problem.
All the more now.
Cái chơi là tính clear lên cái bục cái pha lọt.
I prefer he bites down on damage dealers. Bite down on Few, bite down on Marco, Kyle TZ if you can.
Thôi, ít thôi.
Defensive character like this. Oh my god.
Everyone's jumping in.
Vô lọt mà ơi, Kyle ơi.
Secures the Lord. Here comes the Nether Realm. JP biting down with the Wither Crown also.
Ham tích có. Kyle trong ball đó khỏi rồi. Kyle. Chụp flap vào đây. ơ cầm đá bục đánh đi ê họ đánh gì đánh họ đánh tê ôi tê là phó tôi bay tiết ai trời mà chầm miên này ui ê à thì có sao mà cái đánh đại tè bạn ơi trời Sanford SNG teleport mà bay tè nó đọt trời ơi
Sanji was mad, man. He wanted to get that game ended right.
Slan trời Caster say slan trời mà chả miên á.
Yep, we see it. Just processing on believing.
Yeah, up here we're so close to the big screen in the arena. We were just both pointing at him. Ah, Sanji! Sanji!
That was literally us.
Yeah, literally us. Oh my goodness.
The fuck?
Would have actually worked a lot faster.
Yeah, exactly.
Mà
The
ca cái bay.
here, the hands of Sanji. If he's not MVP, I'm gonna protest. I'm gonna run down and scream, why isn't Sanji MVP? But I'm pretty sure he's
annihilated Monster Vicious. And that's a big wipeout when the Lord is so close to you. You get top.
Từ qua đây Monster.
Now you get Lord.
Hào ao từ năng qua đây.
You might even get the tier 2 up top. This is
cái bàn lò tiệt tao từ năng này. Hào ao từ năng.
I think we are witnessing the death throes. If we were concerned about Monster Vicious,
mà room ngọc buồn điện nè bong nè mơ bong ra phong ở đây game từ cái thông
Monster Vicious are falling apart. Stop it. You're already down. What's wrong with farming, man? Look at the
bay stone nữa kìa lọt má cái cam bóc này bùm bao mà ê trời nó hơi lê đang ca điện nào miền bao à miền bao không small cho đấy lên game đừng vô phải chạm bàn đi
almost 10,000 ahead. Skies hasn't died. Storm 0-1 and 12. This is looking very scary for Monster Vicious.
The Exol are looking so good right now. The RWM sets up for the Lord, but MB is able to clear it in exchange for the Holy defense. Looks like MB will finally get a chance to breathe a little bit, but at this point, the gravity of the situation must be hitting. They know that the chances of them moving on to the next stage.
Đi Elite đập goal, đập khê goal nha.
I can't believe it, man. Like this is good. Monster Vicious. Seriously, wait for Ruff to get Holy Crystal, and then that's your win condition.
Here comes another conceal. Rasi not gonna be able to find a target this time. Lantern gonna pick him back. AOG gets a knock up into the break. He's able to dash away though, and now Nova.
Tì ra. Tờ nôm mà đây.
Kill for the 1-1, and it just keeps getting worse.
Dude, like 11,000.
Ông Vi chắp đai mũi. Ông Vi chắp đai mũi ở Vamos tờ ơi.
This big of a lead, Staffa, and it's against Monster Vicious. How have they been training for this week? What have they been eating?
This is a rookie squad revitalized. This is a lineup with a dream, with a passion, with a drive, with a goal that is sitting right before their eyes, and no one is going to stop them from reaching it.
Hold out, like there's still hope. Get the Holy Crystal. You need to win a fight so that you can get out of your base.
Lên game vô cho vay cái.
Mày
hả đất vô hả đất tờ vay mấy cái phu với một banana này nè. Đập mùi khê goal lead ơi.
You should know
DX
their
នេះលេងអត់តាំង
position.
file មក
You
បៀ
should
បងនេះ
know their timing, when they're strong, when they're weak.
តើ
Do you
ណា
need items? Do you need levels? Do you need a setup? You should know these things, and they're playing against it, man. Like,
បានចេញពី
it's not
nature ទៀត
DxO winning at this point. It's Monster Vicious losing.
I'm pretty sure their psychological state is already in tatters. The pressure of this series, of this situation, has been too much for them, and DxO winning out that early game may have been the last nail in the coffin. The only thing MV can hope for now is that DxO somehow overheats again, somehow throws kills into their cores, because that is the only way they can bring this back.
Lọt down midទៀត
Well, at least Uni gets 2 turrets, so that's something now. Kimin fights
Eh?
against Uni. Uni should be able to win this one. He already has the items.
Why mày ngộp
The play is not really
cái
doing
cặp
enough.
bên nó lính
He just has to use it to run away. He
អោ
makes
អាទីវិញហើយយកទៅទប់
Now the Lord gonna be pushing in.
Lord coming
MV needs to
មកហើយ
focus. This is
ពង
literally their MPL lives on the line right now. Mid inhibitor
Whoa.
will fall. Top inhibitor quick to follow. The damage from
Ê, bác
Kimin
spare
is
luôn mày.
notable. Forces the revitalize out before the fight even
Ê
starts.
trời
Rusty's just looking for
អ
a
រ
target,
រុំ
but he
ខាង
takes back one.
MV នឹងលេងអត់ទៅទេហ៎
Gets a nice miss crack.
តាំងពីលេងឈួរអញ្ចឹងណា
There's no damage.
ទៅ
Rough
ហ្នឹង
doesn't
មានអី
do
ទៀត
anything. It's a legendary streak for
មាន
Kimin.
ស្អីយកមកទប់នេះ
Comes in with the crowd.
តោះ
This gotta survive. It's a double kill for the Zuyo. The DxO are
បាយបាយ
finding the way.
បាយបាយ
MAL team has beaten the odds, defeated the curse, and proved everyone wrong. They will move on to the upper bracket semi-finals.
គ្មានអីមកបៀកមួយគេទេ
Ever
ហើយយើងមកមើល MPL ពេលពេលនេះ
gonna be the man deserves it. Damn good low Yi game, and Team Liquid Philippines as a whole played so well around the sand, man, as he put Team
Around the end there, you know, maybe save for that last.
មិននឹងផ្លិចដកស៊ីវ៉ាចឹងនេះ
That could have been still a very close game.
Yeah, Team Liquid Philippines decided to play with their best strength, which is just being able to open up the map so well with the low Yi. So for the side of Falcons now, I think they're not going to give that low Yi anymore. They shouldn't. That is enough warning. At that point, the whole team has to gather together. Even the coach has to admit, yeah, let's never give the low Yi to Sanji. And that might become the biggest trade of this game, because Few plays a very mean low Yi as well. So we're now going to be looking at the center of the map as the key trade in the draft, which mid laners are going to get picked up in the final compositions.
That's right. Chip might be in the docket if that happens, so we'll see. Those teams love the global. So for the meantime, though, let's take a breather, guys. Let's have a little bit of a fun here in the Champions Arena. Further over to our host, we got a few special guests for you.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. Here we are at the Champions Arena, and right beside me are the champions of the UAAP Esports Season 87. Everyone please give it up for De La Salle University. DLSU Green Aces, boys, it is so nice to have you here today. Pakilala naman kayo sa lahat ng ating mga manonood for everybody who doesn't know you yet.
IGN ko po, Gabowi. Yung role ko is gold lane.
My gen ko po is Caviar, and ngayon po multi-role po ako ngayon.
Alright.
IGN ko po is Aspect and role ko is Jungle.
Hello, I'm Ryu. IGN ko po ay Light Tuto and role ko ay Support.
I'm Aaron po, tas role ko po is mid lane.
Ako po si Nek and role ko po is XP.
All right, there we finally have it. Some familiar faces, right? A lot of familiar faces with this team right here. Matanong ko lang, aside from those who have played pro already, any first-timers na nanonood? First time? All right, first time. Sabi mo kanina, first time mo eh, pero hindi. Now, how does it feel watching dito mismo sa Champions Arena? You, because it's your first time. I want to know more about it. Kasi yung una mong panonood, ito pa mismo, lower bracket. So how does it feel to watch right now?
It feels different from YouTube and Facebook. Kasi
Okay.
You can see the players, their reactions.
Okay.
In-game reactions.
Okay, so it feels different because the action, you see it live, right? I think that's what you are saying as of the moment. Okay, I'm glad I got that quick. Now, in terms of the players naman, isa-isa kayo. Sino ba ang peg nyong player? Sino ba yung mga iniidolo nyong player dito mismo sa MPL Philippines? Gabo, ikaw muna.
Sa akin si Rene J.
Si Rene J.
Rene J.
Sa akin po ngayon si Oben Carrera.
Tìm lịch với comeback của Vinh mau. Ơi.
Carl TZ.
Trời JP đó tụi nó mấy. JP đó. JP đó tụi nó sao mấy. Ở đây Franco qua JP nó mấy nó cái gì ọt. Lê sạch mấy nên. JP nó Franco đi môi. Tụi nó không chơi mấy.
From Mpl Ph. Let's talk to the captain this time. I'm sure kasi na-cover namin yung mga ganap nyo eh. Kasama namin si Chantel, si Brigida, si Womi. I'm sure there's a lot of other, casters na nakasama natin doon. This time kayo naman natatanong, may predictions ba kayo kung sino ang magiging champion of Season 15?
Napag-usapan namin kanina na eh. Sobrang hirap hulaan. Pero para sa amin, feel namin TLPH.
TLPH. So, tingin mo mananalo sila. What's the score looking like?
Basta umabot ng Game 7 para sulit.
Basta umabot ng Game 7 para sulit ang bayan. I like it. May pakaba effect pa DLS. Pakaba effect.
Mùa này lấy sao này nhé. Trời ơi, nó chọc á đây.
មានអាម៉េចទេបែកកាតែហ្គេមនេះបើយើងនិយាយដូចជាអត់លិចគ្នាណាស់ណាទេ
ហ្គេមមុនហ្នឹងចាប់ហើយមកផ្លេត
ពីអូរីសបាទគេមានអូរីសរៀងធំជាងតែចាំមើលបើសិនជាលូកាសនឹងហាត់ឈ្មោះដល់អាចបាយបានគេឲ្យវាយឲ្យលូកាសឈ្មោះវិញណាមួយនៅមានមធ្យលណាដែរ
Best player 1 ចុយ Best player 1មកចូល
មួយមធ្យលណាហ្នឹងបាទលេខដែរ
មែនទេ Best player 1មកចូលនេះមិនចឹងទេ Best player 1 The goal ឯងចង់ភ្ញាក់ផ្អើលទៀត Best player 1 តើប៉ាចុយបាទ
ចេក lab chat បងស្តានក៏មិនឆៃត្រូវប៉ុណ្ណាស្តាននេះបងមួយថ្ងៃអត់បងឃើញត្រូវនៅឡើយទេឥឡូវមានការយកជាមួយនឹង pop បានពីផ្លាកលេខ 223 tier 2ដូរ tier 2ប៉ុន្តែដូរជីវិតទៅ best player 1 មួយប៉ុន្តែ locky មួយនេះក៏ free ទៅកាន់
បែរ best player 1 អើយជឿ
បាទយកបានជាមួយនឹង lot ហើយញ៉ាំជាមួយនឹងវត្តមាន lot ទី1មកដើម្បីពុកបណ្ដាច់
ទូមិននេះដាក់ឈ្មោះគេតាពីចឹង
លេខ 5k បញ្ចប់ហ្គេមនេះអត់តែខ្ញុំគិតថាមិនស្រួលបុកមែនទេដោយសារគាត់50រត់ទេណាអីយ៉ា50រត់អូខេរត់បែកបានដែរងាច់ជាប់ស្តានមួយចាប់បាយទៅលើ Rocky រត់ចេញជាប់អត់ចូលស្តានអត់ចេញអូការស្ដោះលំនេះគឺរៀងស្ទើចេះ copy style គេទេណាចេះ copy style គេទេណានេះ copy style គេបួកអាយុភើយឯងស្ដាយមិនពេញហើយស្តាំមួយចោលអត់ទៅទេចលោទេណងប៉ូលីបានមួយកំមកយូរបានឈឺនេះ
គីមមីនជូហើយសេតមី
មានណាគីមជូមានដែរងាច់អ្នកបុកកិច្ចទៅអ្នកក្រោយបាទអូ
ជាប់ទៀត Best player 1
Best player 1មកផ្លែដាច់ឈាម 70% ជាមួយនឹងសេងជាមួយនឹងរ៉ាកបងជាយាមដាក់ player ជាមួយនឹង lot ទី1នៅផ្ទះតែគេបុកជាមួយនឹង tier 2ត្រែបន្តទៅជាមួយនឹងមីនេះនៅខាងក្រោយគាត់ទៅបុកជាមួយនឹង tier 3ត្រែបន្តទៅប្រែជាលមាននៅឡើយទេអីទេ
ងាប់ Best player 1 មួយ
Best player 1មិនចឹងឥឡូវគេវាយយករ៉ាម្ដងយកជួយគ្នាផងដល់គ្នាចេញមកវិញគឺប្រាំការបាត់អាចជាមួយនឹង tier 3ត្រែ2រត់នៃការបាត់បង់ភ្លាមយកតាមម្ដងពីអូរេសឥឡូវម្នាក់ចង់វាយផ្ទះភ្លាមទៅក៏យ៉ាងណាយក midland សិនមកដោយសារយើងអត់មានកតេលទេខ្នាតគ្នាអត់បានអាចជាមួយអូនរបស់គីមមិនជូផងដែរស្តានត្រូវស្តាននេះដែរពី Rocky Shure ស្តានតែឯងតែគេម្លងក្បាលយើងស្បែកគ្នាយើងនឹងក្រោយទេគេវាយយើងឡើយទេឥឡូវគេវាយគេបានតែមេកមានច្រើនប៉ុន្តែគេចាំជាមួយគ្នាទៅមានអូជាមួយពូតាត្រឡប់មកវិញអូគ្នាចេញអូគ្នាមកមាននេះនៅខាងលើក៏ចេញផងដែរអញ្ចឹងគេ invite up to kill ចឹងដូចជាអត់ចាក់ទេគេហ្នឹងឯងវាយទៀត
star
Fight it up,
power.
fight it up, fight it up.
That's why you really are attracted to the green.
Ở đây, save some, save some.
Huh, that explains a lot. Yeah, that explains it. Yeah, that's the colors of my old university armor.
Ủa
Man. It
mới
was
nó lóm á.
also green and white.
That's right.
And sometimes yellow for
That's
the
right.
jerseys. Huh.
Alright, that explains a little bit. Mark's crossing that.
One less thing to talk about with my therapist.
We'll talk about that later. So right now, obviously, it's been a very interesting, to say the least, way to bring the old TLPH back into the playoffs. Right? This
Lose
is the
side.
TLPH that we have been waiting for.
Falcon từ
We actually saw for the majority.
first pick វិញ
Yeah, and it just so feels
Falcon từ first pick វិញហើយ
discussed heading into the draft. We saw it. Sanford on a hero that can deal more damage. That's what Arlott brings to the table. And then with Team Liquid drawing back and really pulling the curtains, trying to stretch out what they can bring to the meta with the heroes that they decided to pick up, exactly what we saw. What we asked for from Team Liquid Philippines to show in this lower bracket finals, they've already shown right away in game number 1. They have set the bar. It is going to be up to Falcons now to follow that, because if this Liquid stampede continues, that's going to be terrifying.
It is going to be terrifying.
Bảy
Oh yes.
Bảy Mùi Start
TLPH. Let's see if they're going to continue this here. Again, not the vendetta yet.
Rip
Looking for that vendetta maybe.
Fanny Kalia Chip
Back that flame. But TLPH
Harris Luigi បែរចោលអាហ្គេមុនវិធានាពេកមកម៉ែ Luigi ហ្គេមុនវាយចង់ងាប់
Everyone in the chat. What did I say, chat? But yeah, it's been a really I don't know, surprising draft for Team Liquid Philippines, especially in game number 1.
អាហ្គេមិញយក Freco មកយកមកចាប់នេះបណ្ដោយយកមកចាប់ពុលកាសឲ្យវាយខាំយក
Right away, the Lowy
Im
getting
nhú đây.
taken out. Rockhart mentioned the chip still taken out here by Falcons, while Team Liquid Philippines have taken out some of the strengths of
Harris
Falcons.
Harris បែរមក
Hero pool of Kyle Teasy. And
Kimmy នេះ Kimmy គេមើលអត់ឃើញ Kimmy សល់រហូត
for Falcons.
អារម្មណ៍ថាគេអត់ទៅចង់លេង Kimmy ហ្នឹង
Try to go into this with a box
ឬមានគេមានអី counter Kimmy យើងមិនដឹងទេ
Yeah, that's something we're going to look at, because like you mentioned earlier, Luigi was banned out by Team Falcon very early on. So, weirdly enough, even the chip. So no global presence available except for being in the Moscow later on. So we'll see if that's going to be on the...
តែគេមកក្រោយៗ conflict like share ហ្នឹង
And would love to pick that up.
conflict like share ហ្នឹង share មកពីគ្រប់សូសេនដែរសូសេន first pick ពោវាអត់យកនេះ Granger Granger Baxi
Stay away that Granger we just mentioned, so Super Marco will have to use something else for this game after how many games of already using the Ranger. There's no Harris as well, so yeah,
Hi Lord.
the Moscow and the carry so far that he's been playing here in the
ហើយលបពោវាអីមកគេខោនិយាយទៅមកពោវាគឺឡើងល្អមកគិតតែចឹងពោវាមួយហើយលប
The Farsa is still available for TLPH to pick up the...
ហើយលបធ្វើ front line ពោវាចាំអ្នកលូន
A 1-1 could be turned off.
មានអីទៀត
Plus, if Team Liquid Philippines decide to already show that they're going to be going for the tanky front to back lineup again, then Falcons can decide to pick up the 1-1 and or carry later on. So save the Super Marco pick for later. Pick up a flex here and your jungler for Kyle TZ if possible. Maybe the Hayabusa.
បាត់ដាង
But
ហើយ
that's
យ៉ា
really on fire
ដាងហើយយ៉ាវិញណា
for the playoffs. I think he's only not showed up in like maybe 1 or 2 drafts. So far, every single team has loved to pick up the dunk. Onyx Philippines also has, you know, Dilar when he was guesting here, he highlighted that
Farsa.
the dunk is a real deal. So maybe
យក mid lane ហើយ Farsa
time here, but so far the Kakashi Hayabusa.
Farsa
And I love how they picked this up here since Red
Farsa
Mark
này.
the Farsa, so that can
Farsa
make Team Liquid Philippines think twice about whether or not
ឲ្យយក Farsa គេបែរ
in this part.
ឬក៏ចង់យក Lucas មុន
They have to expect that
យក Lucas បែន Valent
or there is going to be a Hayabusa, but they still
Farsa này.
decide to pick up the Farsa nonetheless.
Yeah, they're willing to take that trade. Team Liquid Philippines don't overthink it. Second half of the draft, I think they... Here we go, they take out the 1-1.
1-1
That's expected, even though they picked up the fourth of first.
trời cái chăng lên cái lên văn văn
This is a double-edged sword because Team Liquid Philippines are now...
bên văn văn cái ai đừng vô hero tan
Probably going to go slow front to back again.
Now we Farsa as well, they're just very vulnerable to Hayabusas in general, as well as the dunks.
Oh!
Lucas
So they take out the Lucas too, which
tới cái chân lên và cái chân lên Luka ấy bên này nữa
That's actually one of the questions as well.
Kari bên Kari à nhưng cái bảo cái bên Kari anh vô
Where does this Baksha go for
vô hai lo vậy mà
Philippines? Because
Moscow quá
at least in the playoffs, I feel this is the first time that they'll actually be picking up the Baksha.
Yeah. Okay. With them landing out the Moscow N11, that leaves Beatrix and Carry for Falcons. You know what, Team Liquid Philippines? Go for either the Ling or the Lance.
Oh.
I want the Lance.
I want the Lance.
Give me the Lance, Liquid.
I love that. It's actually a hero that wins pretty
Lance
well against Hayabusa, you know.
Team Liquid
Frame out on shadow skill, you know, just go ahead and take out that Zushin if you can. Exactly. I love that. Yeah, not gonna be a frontier focus. And out at the very last.
And if ever there's a 1-1
group 3 thì quay thế ai phụ về
but regardless of whatever
phụ về nó counter hai già
decides
thiệt hai già rồi
for Team Falcons, right? They'll have a way to access it easily aside from the Farsa and the Granger, which are already plenty of range for Team Liquid Philippines. So they save that.
chỉ cái mưa khơi lo pi hiện lán
Be it the rover or the jungler for Team Liquid Philippines, we aren't entirely sure just yet.
Yeah. Alright, we already saw Rome Hilda before coming
lệ
from
phụ
Team
với
Liquid, but I think that is an
lệ phụ với chơi mơ tà ra
chơi
mơ tà ra thiệt
Right.
chơi ta
You know, but whenever we say that, there are just times where, you know, it doesn't happen. So I'm just gonna stay open.
But with the picks right now, I feel like Carry seems like a really good option against Baksha and Hilda. Clint is not out of the picture just yet. But yeah, the gold lanes are very hard right now.
Maybe Irithel, if Super Marco just wants to look at the matchup, plus it's going to be easier for him to avoid the
Obvious.
airstrike.
With the lane.
Yeah, because with the Beatrix and the carry, they're a little bit too slow.
Oh, what?
Clint.
Go Clint? Good call there, Rockhard, by the way.
I really feel like you're right. I actually would have loved the Irithel, but
Ooh.
yeah, the Clint, even in the hands of Keller, has been really inefficient, I would say.
So
look
far,
at that lane that you mentioned as well.
Yeah. So the best choice that they can go for at that point, honestly, for Carl TZ, he was either the Ling or the Lancelot. And even more so now with that last pick, Ling. Brigida, I feel like this Clint might have a hard time.
It will. It looks like it will. It has to consider the far side, has to consider the lane.
lính sủa lấy những cái thằng lính sủa lấy của lính của tấm
Trying to hunt him down.
su xuyên mình nghe từ chạp lính man
There are just countless of ways for Team Liquid Philippines to actually catch up.
So in the Clash of the Titans here in the
Link
panel, I
cat
think
is
the
a-
Liquid Curly and Falcon Sky are in agreement. Liquid won the draft.
Yep. Pretty much. Even I would agree with that one. 100%. Unless Super Marco can
Của
just
pha khón mùi mùi mấy
easy stuff and make sure that
cái
he's
non mục mùi nè
from the game. But then again, history has proven that's very difficult.
Yeah.
So let's throw it over to our Land of Dawn. See how
Land
Falcons
of Dawn
Game 2 in this best of 7. First of the board is Liquid. Can Falcons
push
with a
មកហើយ
very specific draft
ចូលភ្លាម push plate មកអី
get on the board and equalize. At your service, my name is Leo here with Ingan and Brigida to bring you the action. If I may weigh in, I agree.
I
On
agree.
face value, Liquid won the draft, but Ingan, do you agree with me that these picks by Falcons are specific to them? Like they know how to use these tools to get back into this series.
Yeah, not to mention, you know, when Flap TZ started to use these some sort
ឯ
of
បែបខាមគេព្រាព្រាព្រាព្រា
a lot of highly mechanical skills, he would default to the backshas, the glues, whenever he doesn't feel like it. So with this case, he could be the bridge for Super Marco to have his power spike early on and dish out the damage, despite the high mobility that TLPH has with their lineup.
Yeah, and part of me is starting to consider
Throw
what
ball
happens
shooting.
if the team fights take too long. Like, what if they just run for more than a couple of seconds for both Team Falcons and Team Liquid Philippines, right? Like, it
Cái
looks
web
to
cam
me
nó
that
ព្រាព្រាព្រាព្រា
their lineup might actually be somehow
Production.
built for that to some extent too.
That's what I'm saying. The picks that Falcons went into game number 2 with are picks that have low downtime, I like to call it. They're picks that, again, don't ultimately just rely on their ultimate. And it makes sense. Look at Falcons' stats all throughout season 15, right? They're number 1 in kills, number 1 in assists, and when it comes down to the late game, they are number 1 in Lord control. Just second
Lord
in total
control.
Lord kills. But again, when it comes down to those big dances, those team fights that last a while, you know, Falcons, they let you know that they are here.
Yeah, one of the key reasons why is, of course, Owen is with his Badang again. signature of the Unigo cousins. And who can forget their game yesterday, the game-ending set that Owen had with the Badang that turned things around in their favor. What happened now?
Oh, actually, especially now that I feel they'll have a lot more routines to create that space, you know? Earlier it felt like they were mostly mid-range, so they always had to close in. But now I feel like there's a better distribution in terms of the positions we
lực
can
bọc pha giá chưa phai một bạn spell một bạn ấy sao kêu lực bọc với mình check pull phải từ nôm mà bước bồn chụp hộp ở đây Falcon
over the mid lane.
Yeah, and honestly, this is one of the biggest differences in game number 1. Team Liquid Philippines were always pressuring the mid lanes. They were always having an eye on either you, on whatever you get to actually show yourself up in. And it can be the same with Sanford on the Hilda, but there's less, you know, Final Slash, there's less surprise, there's less threat for an immediate pick-off.
Yeah, not to mention, oh, wait a minute though.
Đạch vào đây. Cái bộ của bạn ai nghe muốn bộ của bạn experience lên kìa. Xinh Ngọc Linh Vinh Đạt. Ngọc Linh Vinh Đạt em này. Rồi.
Yeah, and just as we mentioned how Team Liquid Philippines
ta mang tích tiếp với nó. Su xin lực bao rồi nè. Break bắt rồi. Em hô.
And just when there was an immediate response from Carl Tizzy, who would have expected that there could be enough
Rồi Carl Tizzy lính em.
That's the beauty of the new glue. I was tinkering with it earlier this week, and I'm like, how is this legal? How is Muton already changing a very strong hero into a stronger hero? And that's why Liquid, they're always keeping their eyes on bottom lane, on XP.
Yeah, I mean, who can forget the performance of Kirk yesterday with the glue? Flawless KDA, so now if Flap TZ channels his inner Kirk, things could go well for Team Falcons as they start things off with this turtle. Sanford providing a lot of vision here for Carl TZ. Who's gonna get the turtle first? Because Kyle TZ just got zoned out, but he has a shadow again. Here comes the Tempest of Blades now as he's trying to go for more.
Đại Sanford mũi, Đại Linh mũi điên. Chốt chơi vậy? Cho pha ra đi. Bùm, bồn. Đại JP mũi đít ngun. Lôi sốt như thế này. Chơi.
Grand Theft Turtle for the young goat.
Falcons took too long. They were relishing in the victory and then in comes Carl.
And to be fair, that was already one of the things we talked
Ôi
about.
này lươn mấy bôi. Đang thà cái cho đang thà hai da mình đi hả mình smile rồi. Họ dùng mà smile rồi.
Turtle bit and secure it for Team Liquid Philippines.
The ultimate opportunist, much like Seth Rollins in Mania. He's coming
Carl
back.
TZ.
That was turtle number 1, folks. Turtle number 1.
Blindsided them again, but still they were able to pick up 3 or 4 kills during that trade. So Team Falcon still has a 1.6k gold lead, and they're reverting back again to the control of the mid lane, because even Sanji's having a hard time today.
Yeah, and it's honestly interesting to see Team Liquid Philippines still try to go for the fights, go for the contests, even though we acknowledge the fact that it might take a little more time for them. They're on the Ling, and yes, it is an assassin. Yes, there is some early game presence, but the items are a necessity for you to build the
Berserker rồi, tranh Berserker ấy, chạm căn là sư rồi đấy. Cái bộ rồi bây giờ. Hoa rồi thì có. Mà hoa thật tè. Bao nhiêu mình nó hoa hết tè.
And I mean, even if you're going to look at the matchup between Flap TZ and Sanford pretty much you cannot see that Sanford's freely roaming or being the secondary roamer right now.
He can't, as the
Boop.
he can't. Oh, action in mid.
Action in mid. Kyle TZ already popped the Wiki Shadow Kill. JP soaking up the damage, but Few comes in with the lantern flare. Flap TZ jumps in once again. And Sanford
ដាច់ខាលទៅពើមទៅណារួច
TZ got stunned down. Point blank shot right in the
គេវាយគីឡូមួយទៀតនេះ
brings him down.
Oh, they're still going. JP had flap on him. Carl Easy looking to get some retribution.
Oh, Ogun had to pop his ultimate to delay the attack of TLPH.
Sing, sing, sing.
As they break down
Trời
Ogun, that's
mà.
one member down again for Team Falcons.
OHEB was too free, and Team Liquid Philippines had all quad
តែ
shadows
មានអារម្មណ៍ថាលីងវាយមួយថ្ងៃប៉ុន្តែល្បែងនៅក្រោមខាលណាខាលល្បែង9មុន
one member of Team Liquid Philippines ready to answer, but
what the shoot solo kill របស់ Sanji ដែរ
Alright, it was off camera. Who knows what was in the vision of Sanji? He popped the feather air strike for a snipe on Few.
You know, we were just talking about that the lineup of TLPH compared to game number 1 lacks surprises because they don't have the Franco, they don't have the Arlon, but Carl TZ surprises with a turtle kill, but now Carl TZ
វាជាប់អើតាដំជាប់ហ្នឹងគឺដឹងនៅនឹងដែរ
never fails to amaze us with a solo kill onto Few a while ago.
not even using the Purify. So he's fully equipped for what may happen in this next objective, which clearly both of these teams are looking to set up for. Ogun and Flaptizi are already within the area, and so are JP and Sanford.
មកដាវ 10%
We're back to equilibrium. Falcons can contest. Liquid stole the last one, but it looks like this has their name on it. Kyle Easy spots Sanford.
Now we're seeing Sanford
Mình
doing
trâu
his
rồi
thing,
chứ.
zoning out Kyle TZ to give enough space for Carl TZ for an uncontested turtle take. A while ago,
phá
before
khốn
or after
team Liquid
even
không có chỗ lên.
turtle steal of Carl TZ, Falcon was looking at the 1.6k gold lead, and now it's on the side of TLPH.
Exactly. It's the way the lead has shifted so fast. But now Team Falcons, they're trying to look for ways to regain it back. But it seems like this is just pure determination from Team Liquid Philippines. They're just not
Thiệt á?
letting anything go through.
Rồi kê đấy
Catching Few again.
Shoot.
Now Carl TZ on to Super Marco. He was able to dodge
Super
it out,
Marco
pick up the sun from
Super Idol Super Marco ជាងជា Super Idol
down. Here comes TLPH once again. A Wiki Shadow Kill casts it down. Sanji pops his Purify. JP caught in the middle. And I think Flap TZ was able to grab onto JP. The clash will disperse here, but TLPH, they got 2 kills.
Oh, Kyle's not done. Shadow in.
But the stun! And now the counter from Ogun! And now the ult from
ជួយ JP លត់ជន់ stand ខាលវិញ What the
knocking down turrets.
មើល live បតាតែមាននេះ
Imagine that. It could have looked so good.
ជួយនឹង stand ខាលទីស៊ីវិញបានទេណា
Just the fist crack coming in.
JP.
Ogun to capture Carl TZ and actually shut him down. But look at how Team Liquid Philippines decided to still proceed with the fight. But hold on, Few. Does he want to go for this?
ឈូធ្ងន់បាត់ហើយឈូនេះជួយឈូឥឡូវមិនមានអារម្មណ៍ថា over season លោទេ
Sanford was able to flicker out Sanji again with a feathered airstrike to stop
Bye.
the Falcons from extending further. And now TLPH are looking at the 3k gold lead. Almost all extended clashes favor them.
Only God knows when these teams will stop fighting. They will start, stop, and then maybe they'll make their minds and go for something. I think that's what mid was all about. Liquid went straight for that tier 1
Chào ơi.
when they said we had enough. And then they kept
Thật
going.
sự là mẹ lắm theo cái season cho Arsenal đi thôi nó được cam muốn này
Looking for all the fights
để em rồi nè vô rồi lâu đấy
haven't seen any clear intention from Team Falcons just yet to be the ones first. Where we haven't seen Ogun go in just yet with a flicker, just break this crack combo to capture anyone. At most, it's probably Few, but earlier it felt like it was zoning.
buộc rồi đấy
Sanji cast a feathered airstrike and
mà cái buộc
bursted down Ogun. They're trying to go
cái
for
buộc
a
vào mắt
spot,
này
the Wiki Shadow Kill, but
thôi đi cái đa ra
revitalize to save everyone. And Ogun falls down.
Like a herd of stallions, Liquid just clop off whenever Kyle presses the shadow kill. That's the third time that they've done this defensive maneuver.
Third time TLPH playing as one unit.
ủa đừng coi bộ prào
Control of the game, 3.6k gold lead already, and look at the gold difference between the two gold leaders, almost 1.5k.
lead goal 3k 4k đó này
Haven't seen the Clint really provide much for Team Falcons just yet.
Really?
Despite the presence of already the Endless Battle and the Malefic Roar. And JP has already built the Radiant Armor and the Dreadnought, so he's pretty much able to tank a lot of the damage that will come in from Falcons, because mostly those who are going to go up front are Flap and Fuel. And now that's just all the more reason for Team Falcons to carefully consider what they're doing next.
Team Falcons, I don't know if they're considering even a contest. In my books, I wouldn't. You're down 4K.
Lót nó trâu rồi. Ắt trâu rồi. Free lót rồi. Tốt tuần này. Ui. Trời, Owen mặc combo nữa em ngay. Trời, combo fling. Mặt combo fling bên chọn bay.
It was a beautiful call from Master Ogwen. Seeing how grouped up together Team Liquid Philippines was and looking for the right targets. Both JP and OHEB, but more so on OHEB. Them being able to take him out meant a lot for Team Falcons.
Now they transition to a mid lane turret takedown. Lord up top, Carl Teasy waiting for the perfect opportunity to strike. Sanji with the feathered airstrike, he goes in the
Đặt Owen vào đây, chọt. Xinh.
Chasing after Phil. Flap Teasy gone as well.
Chú.
Super Marco bursting.
Nó đi vào.
Phil got caught. Has the Crimson Beacon.
Sanford, có bấy nó khỏi mấy. Này.
But Phil and Kyle Teasy are left.
Oh, anime fight. Kyle Teasy backing out. He knows the massive losses across the board. 3 down for free. Liquid find a clapback, but they still have to deal with the Lord.
And those clapbacks just come in too fast. Like, be it Team Falcons, be it Team Liquid Philippines, the moment you make even just the slightest mistake, or if you take a bit more longer than you should, then you could expect the immediate responses already coming in. If we would look at that instant replay earlier, Team Falcons, they just wanted to take down this mid-tier too, but Carl Teasy holding that brush alongside every single member of Team Liquid Philippines calling for an engage. They just knew they had the advantage and they took out so many members of Team Falcons.
Call it punitive action. Falcons did steal a few kills, did steal away the Lord when Liquid was up by 4K. Who saw that coming? No one saw that coming, save for Falcons.
Ogwen rather saw that coming because he did this yesterday with this specific hero, the Badang. If you give Ogwen the flicker and the fist break, fist crack, things could change.
Trong 2 giáp bẹ. Vô anh mình.
To burst down any of
Mình
the
snap thêm Liquid T.
But again, if they stay too long, TLPH, they win the extended fights.
And it's looking a bit more better for Team Liquid Philippines right now.
Hai giáp bẹ. Bẹ võ ấy.
The wind of nature as well. They only have to be extra careful in terms of positioning, but so long as Stanford is able to provide the necessary information, unlike earlier where it feels like no one was watching the mid, no one was keeping an eye on the mid rushes, then it'll be a
Vậy thế đó nó gì đó men spell van mặc đông này đó. Bé em làm mồm mó. Men spell van này bạch bẹ vội thế. Ở đủ đấy. Bẹ. Lại hai thật đây mà. Em này.
How can they change up their tactics, their formations, their movement, so they don't get punished as hard by the master? Item check here. So far, Marco is catching up to OHEB, but I'm thinking stacks wise. I'm thinking like just pure raw damage and lethality. OHEB still trumps the bulletproof.
Yep. I think he got shut down in the middle of his 6 kills, so that's not the full 60 stack that you would expect from a Sky Piercer. But again, in terms of survival, gold laners have their Wind of Natures ready, so you can keep an eye out of that if ever Owen manages to catch Owen and Sanji, but now they try to go for
Sanford.
COPH.
Chỉ có Sanford này.
Alright, half health.
Full stack lên Sanford. Chỉ có JP mà. Lạp chỉ có đấy. Nói biết rồi. Bầm. Bầu. Yeah, strike rồi đây. Chà bà đây, Flap. Chui Flap môi bơi. Chui khné. Chui. À, chui khné ngọc Owen mình lên. Quên rồi nè chờ. Ngọt JP thì chui. Ê, ra Sanford. Chui khné cái. Bua. Nice. Trời.
Again in the nick of time was able to get Sanford. And with that kill, TLPH won't be able to use this Lord.
Fade away, ricochet shot by the Bulletproof, keeping Falcons in the game. A few punished movements from Liquid. Again, in the heat of battle, you're going to want to get what you can. You're going to want to snowball and punish your opponents when they overextend. Carl TZ committed Tempest of Blades to take down, what was that, Ogwin or Flap TZ? Someone who you shouldn't use your ult on.
Ogwin, I think it was Ogwin.
Yep, and honestly, that entire decision from Team Liquid Philippines to just burst down the objective, it normally would be dangerous with very limited information, but it was so fortunate that Team Falcons, they were actually really taking their time. Owen had to come in from the other side of the right mid bush, but even for Kyle,
cái rô pha ra đấy.
Speaking of Kyle,
Mui Kyle. Này. Điệu. Trời. Owen ơi. Cái chắp sao? Trời Owen này. Thế mà chắp mày đang ăn ngon. What the heck? Trời mày đang Owen còn xưa mà bị có ad này đi. Thì mình nói mình điểm mạnh bốc cái. Nó bốc đánh pi bay nè mình này. Bốc ăn đánh.
Lucky, or how fortunate is it for TLPH that OHEB wasn't part of the setup? So they had the damage, they had ways to answer back, even though Master Ogwin went in and nearly got that perfect setup.
Kill one didn't even have a flicker.
Rồi score tranh cái Ranger, căn là bạo bay Ranger thế.
They were more than lucky. There was someone out there looking out for Kill one saying, please don't kill him, please don't kill him. 61 stacks.
Yeah, and that's because again, with the kit of his hero, he has unlimited reach, especially towards the 17-minute mark now. So he doesn't need to be in close combat to dish out the damage up against Team Falcons.
Sonata on Sonata on Sonata.
Now even the Rhapsody was more than enough. Oh.
Slowly but surely, Falcons can position themselves again into a point where they'll force TLPH to respond, but it's Liquid who's being proactive right now. Lordes began. Sanford gets caught up.
Good grab on Flap TC onto Sanford, but now JP getting caught in a mix. Ogwin.
Chỉ có JP nữa.
He doesn't know where he is. JP pops his revitalize already. Got caught by
Đại JP muối. Không Sanford muối đít. Bum.
Ogwin commits the ultimate onto Sanford. Paired up with Fuse Lantern Flare. Super Marco finishes the job as they bring down two.
That's free. Two for free. I don't think Liquid should take this fight.
Now Kyle TC.
Có là mày. Senchi. Nè, sắp bấm có. Vui này nè chứ. Flick muối. Đánh hai nhà này. Rồi. Đồ ai thâm thế này. Ôi, Kyle lên ghế chạp của mình này.
It was very disastrous. Imagine not being able to anticipate it.
Thể tích vai kể, nhặt vai kể. Cái sao smite. Lên sao nhỉ? Chăm clear ma thần mà. Chọc bà ra JP. Cái lực bọc lực của Vi bên đây. Lạp. Đủ o đài bự. Ồ. Ăn ngọc JP. Hay lời sai vào đây. JP nó đạch mẹ ơi. Trời mà đây. Ngọc Super Marco và Free Lord rồi. Cho vô Lord mày cả. Bạch độc âm vào đây.
They had to find a way to deal with Super Marco, and he was the only guy they took out from Team Falcons. JP, this time around, it was a much more rewarding of him to sustain all that damage.
And he was the guy that Falcons needed to take that Lord. That's why Liquid got it for free. Falcons hesitated.
This is the result of numerous tournaments, numerous grand finals, numerous crucial matches between these two teams. Despite not having enough information, they rely on the tendencies that they found out about each other. That's why this game is long. It's approaching the 20-minute mark, and it's still a close fight.
For the past 400 days, these two in some version of these lineups have gone all around the world and played world-class MLBB. And today, they prove that they can keep going, they can keep changing the game. A forced retreat for Kyle and Ogwin. Watch out for Ogwin. It's the master really who changes the tide of these fights.
Yeah.
Big enough though, even if Owen managed
Oh.
the play coming in from Sanji.
Near.
Daisy flickers in to bring down Sanji. Now they pick up Sanford, force out a lot of flickers. Lord was able to working on CLPH. One member down for the cavalry.
Brigada was out wise. They spent so much just to take down Sanji. They didn't even protect that mid lane.
That Lord Siege Team Liquid Philippines could have
Mà do
definitely
cột mà
went
mình
for
đã coi counter hay ra rồi.
all their members and all their resources complete.
Counter ai
And
mà
now
rồi.
this allows for a little more breathing room for Team Falcons, but they definitely should be the ones to find the team fights, to find the more favorable fights later on.
May I say, the fact that no flicker, save for Flapteasy, was spent in that takedown, in that defense in mid. So maybe, just maybe, Falcons are setting something up.
Unfortunately for them also, fortunately for them it was the mid lane inhibitor that got taken down, so Carl TZ's potential split pushes can be managed by Team Falcons.
Now we're already approaching that point in the game.
It's the fourth Lord, by the way.
Yeah, where everyone is just full builds, where everything doesn't matter anymore, where it's ultimately execution once again, and the constant adapting you do in game, that feels like both of these teams, as time progresses, as time goes by, they just constantly know how to attack one another, and the seesaw battle is just too real.
Amazing map control by Team
Chạy mà
Falcons.
sao thôi.
Despite losing out on their mid lane, getting penetrated,
Lên lên nâng 2 mà trăm cho phòng.
they still managed to make the map go blue. And this is in front of a Hilda, in front of a Ling, in front of a Farsa. How do they do that?
Every single time we think that Team Liquid Philippines
Bạn đang trong map rồi. Bạn đang là full rồi.
control even of the upcoming objectives, even
Cả bên team five zone rồi bạn đang conceal map rồi.
Flapteasy, guilty, a charge of Grand Theft Purple. How?
That's revenge for Carl TZ taking away
Man
their
flap
turn
này.
early on in this game.
Blue ban flap này.
No purple buff
អត់ចាយ flick អត់ចាយ smite ខ្លាចបានខ្លាចអត់មាន smite តែមាន smite លើ
Going into a fight
Blue
without
Joel flap
a
rồi.
Ling this late into the game with these high stakes involved. Carl TZ won't let's just say they can't fight.
Yeah, it's hard.
This is gonna be a very difficult decision for Team Liquid Philippines. And there's the conceal already coming in from Ogwen. They're already positioning themselves, and they might find Oheb!
អូវ៉ាន់ទៅបាទដាច់អូហេបបាទហើយជីវិត2ទៀតជីវិត2អត់ cool down ជីវិត2 cool down ធ្ងន់មែន
Sanford leading the charge. Sanji delivers the final kill. JP Immortality pop. Sanford caught in a mix once again. Few continuing with the land.
Bọc Sanford nữa.
Sanford, but a winter
Lỡ bùm ngọc Sanji ấy ngọc super Marco ơi chơi ôi trời co mình trời chỉ mất pi bênទៀតtrời ơi micro play bro Sanji co tình mất piទៀតtrời này
Now in the picture, he's all alone. CLPH has 3.
What the heck?
In the span of a minute,
tốc ai chụp?
they caught Oheb, but now they're staring down the barrel of a pushing mid.
No need.
Rồi Oheb đôi bà chân lưới nữa.
Minions onto the middle lane. Kyle TZ
Smite.
against his idol. Huigi Shadow Killer already cast in. Might be able to clear it out, and he bought it.
Sao AT ở đây?
Insane! A few minutes back, a few seconds back, the buy and sells, the decisions to stay in this game. And now they're trying to burst the Lord, but Goldwyn and Kyle, they're still within the area. But
Master! Ogwyn! The clutch is
Trời!
Ogwyn! We witness it here!
The capacity crowd.
What the heck?
Arena erupts. Cavalry Falcons nest everyone in between, just lose.
Chui một đáy ban lột.
How?
And I was just saying, fortunately Kyle is far. Fortunately,
Trời.
could catch up, but it was Owen all along who could get the job done.
Mentally speaking, you have to recover. You can't let yourself be haunted by the fact
Mình
that
chẳng này.
Uber stole away your lord. This is an evolved lord.
Smite Linh mình nó smite rồi đã. Smite đã ban lột.
Cutting that wave in mid.
Oh, they're gonna need every bit of Carl Teasy here as the Lord
Bóc rồi mê thiệt.
up top. Clears the inhibitor.
Linh ma to rồi.
Left Teasy jumps
À tí.
in. Sanji, but got interrupted by Carl Teasy.
Ngọt chê pi vậy nè. Mà Super Marco. Đồ thì bật cô, đồ thì bật pi được.
He still has his immortality. Only JP got lost and they were able to clear out the Lord.
Trời mà bỏ chỗ ơi. Team Liquid nó phân ca pia.
For now, they're able to deny and delay Team Falcons.
Mà Linh tục lên đâu biết đâu, đâu hổm.
Waves coming in from the side that they successfully are able to deal with.
Ôi, khá tí gì nên tụi nó không vui.
So good that they're able to
Ôi mà game này bạn ô quên đây nè, mà lụi lót đi bên bạn miền tả hàm ấy pha con lên mình. Đại Super Marco vậy. Ở đây. Ai cô vậy? Hey, flap được chi thế? Này card màn tì chứ ai sụp flap này.
Survive. They could have been punished so much harder, but Liquid, I wonder what their thoughts are on this next Lord spawning in 20.
You know, this is the first time in this playoffs I actually saw a death timer in 70 seconds.
Dạ, mình nó bà thêm Liquid ban lót nó chọc bà đây là pel Super Marco open the loot lọt bàn nó mà mình hàm mà lên mình.
And Team Falcons, they need Flap Teasy for this potential fight.
I think the longest we've ever seen was in day one. What wait?
Picks off Marco.
Sanji tên non vui.
Stallion made an amazing solo play to pick
Sanji ơi. Mồm ba ơi. Lo chơi mày. Chơi tờ solo Super Marco rồi nè.
But all the more, how was Super Marco so far away from the others?
That play, it's a shame we did not see it as it happened.
Trời mà Sanji.
That play by Sanji made that catch by JP on Oheb earlier in the purple side buff of Liquids look like child's play. How did he single-handedly kill Marco?
They know each other's tendencies. That wasn't enough.
Trời, Super Marco tất cả toàn.
In front of the orange buff.
Exactly.
Tất cả toàn.
Combination of long fights, long clashes of these two teams might come to an end today. Lord sieging and into the middle lane. Can Falcon defend without Marco?
Vừa rồi nè chờ mũi tục chật chừng mà tập tục bị chọp. Cọ tiết mình thấy tiết tao Linh chỉ bật pin nè mũi luôn mà lộ chỉ bật pin mà nè mũi đa co xó ta chỉ bật pin luôn mình thấy tục tiết đài mày còn bực tiền mà lột bật pin nè mũi mà ơi trời mày mà bọc tiền lên lột thì bật pin mà nè mũi phách mà cái mà gọi nè mà phải bọc đi nó không tên gì bật pin mà nè mũi rồi gì mà này mày coi đi mà lột mà mũi pha ra mũi tọt máu hay đà Linh trời mà tên gì bật pì mầm nè mùi rồi ai ơi đã coi nha nhưng bật lại lại